Chapter 866 Monkey King, Little Saint. Tai by Jinxing wiped his sweat and looked at the wailing East Mountain Empyrean Lord. Don't go on. If you continue, East Mountain Empyrean Lord will be in trouble. Then do you promise me or not? Monkey King only crossed his legs and smiled. Tai by Jinxing's expression immediately changed. Then why don't you just let the East Mountain Empyrean go? Monkey King, you're blackmailing Great Heavenly Venerate. Tai by Jinxing moved closer to Monkey King and whispered, Monkey King, let's each take a step back. That God of Thunder will definitely be punished by Great Heavenly Venerate in the future, but we can't bring him out now. Give Great Heavenly Venerate face. Then East Mountain Empyrean Lord's title of Great Heavenly Venerate will be yours. Monkey King bared his teeth. You're being generous. What Great Heavenly Venerate? I don't care. I'm not afraid to tell you that all my abilities were taught to me by Master. His abilities are 1,000,000 times stronger than mine, and his boldness is also 1,000,000 times greater. Now that I'm making a scene, I'm just humiliating Great Heavenly Venerate, Lord of the East Mountain Empyrean Lord. That's out of respect for your Great Heavenly Venerate. Otherwise, I'm afraid it'll be difficult for you to do things outside the system of the Heavenly Court. This is my Master's kindness. He's giving face to Great Heavenly Venerate Yu Huang by asking for the title of Great Heavenly Venerate. If Master also asks for the title of Great Heavenly Venerate and makes a scene like me, who do you think will lose face for? Tai by Jinxing trembled in anger. Is the immeasurable Heavenly Venerate rebelling? Monkey King sneered. My Master not rebelling is giving face to your Great Heavenly Venerate. Therefore, the title of Great Heavenly Venerate, Lord of the East Mountain Empyrean, is reasonable. As long as Great Heavenly Venerate understands the will of the heavens and is impartial, this position will belong to my ancestor sooner or later. Now that I have humiliated East Mountain Empyrean, I have made a position for Great Heavenly Venerate. Speaking of which, you should thank me, giving us what we deserve as compensation. How can there be such logic in this world? How can there be such logic in this world? Tai by Jinxing almost screamed. He pointed a trembling finger at the Monkey King and said, You wreaked havoc in the Heavenly River, beat up the great monarch of Dongyu of the Heaven Court, killed countless immortal lands, devoured the 100,000 mountains, destroyed the hairy ghost kingdom, and caused countless disasters. The Jade Emperor felt pity for your youth and naivety, which was why he covered up your sins and showed you mercy. How could you be so greedy? Cause trouble? Goku's expression changed. He raised the imperial edict in his hand and said, Are you saying that the determination in this imperial edict is fake? Or do you think the Grand Empyrean's judgment was unfair? Is the culprit T-Fongshire of the human world? Was there a misunderstanding between me and Great Emperor Dongyu? Tai by Jinxing sneered. You want the imperial edict? After I report this to the Grand Empyrean, he can write a new one for you. Monkey King, you have to understand that this decree is only about the reason you wreaked havoc in the 3 realms. You are young and naive. The Great Emperor Dongyu was careless, and T-Fongshire is the culprit. However, this is far from the end of the world. You have killed many immortals. How can this be erased by saying that you are young and naive? Isn't it up to the Grand Empyrean to decide whether I should be punished by the heavens or be punished with 3 cups of wine? Then I'll rebel. The Monkey King slammed his rod down and said, You have to know that Great Emperor Dongyu is still in my hands, and I still have the artifact I stole from my ancestor. Do you see that golden ship? One shot from it can destroy the 33 heavens. No matter how many celestial soldiers you have, I'm not afraid. When the time comes, you still have to ask my ancestor to come and take the golden ship. I'm not afraid to tell you that my ancestor's courage is 100 times greater than mine. Do you believe me when I say that you will make him one of the 4 royals? Shameless. Tai by Jinxing said angrily, The immeasurable heavenly Lord allowed the monkey to wreak havoc and borrow the artifact to cause trouble. Do you really think the three realms doesn't know? You only know how to make fun of the world. How dare the immeasurable heavenly Lord do this? My ancestor has a nickname, the immeasurable heavenly Lord. How did you get that nickname? So what if the world knows? Would they dare to say it out loud? I'm not afraid to tell you that I have long understood the ancestors' intentions. I'm not afraid to tell you that I have long understood the ancestors' intentions. Right now, the ancestor only wants me to rebel. If we don't come to an agreement, I can still rebel with the artifact I stole. If we don't come to an agreement, we will rebel together. If that happens, there will be no place for us to talk. The Monkey King threatened. The Monkey King, little saint. Tai Bai Jinxing thought that this master and disciple were really lawless. However, he had no choice but to ease the situation. But the Monkey King turned around and ignored him. Tai Bai Jinxing sighed and softened his voice. He turned to the Monkey King and said, "The Monkey King, great saint. The immeasurable heavenly Lord is a virtuous person, and everyone in the three realms knows about it." Tai Bai Jinxing said calmly, "But he has done nothing for the three realms. How can the Jade Emperor give him an official position?" The Monkey King said, "There's no need for him to do so. The great monarch of Dongyu knows that he is a lowly person and willingly gave up his position to my master." As he spoke, he chanted 300 curses. The great monarch of Dongyu was in so much pain that he had nowhere to go. Tai Bai Jinxing thought, "So what if I lie to you for a while? Why don't I agree for now and wait for the Grand Supreme Lord to come and remove the golden circlet on the great monarch of Dongyu's head?" The great monarch of Dongyu couldn't bear the humiliation and said, "Stop chanting. I did it willingly." Tai Bai Jinxing sighed and said, "Isn't it a little too unsightly to do things like this? Why don't we leave it for now and wait for the Heavenly Venerable and the Grand Supreme Lord to succeed? Then the great Heavenly Venerable will reward you according to your contributions. The Grand Supreme Lord will be given an empty title, and your master will be given the title of the 5 elders of the 5 regions. This will make our faces look better." Tai Bai Jinxing was using a delaying tactic. Now that the situation was chaotic, the Jade Emperor was scheming, East Peak was manipulating people, and the Grand Heavenly Venerate had too many things to worry about. By the time the West beheading barbarian was done, the dust would settle, and the Grand Heavenly Venerate would be able to easily take control of the situation. But how could the Monkey King not understand this logic? He sneered and said, "You still want to lie to me? I've said it before. My master is strong and virtuous. He is the pillar of the 3 realms and the pillar of the heavenly court. If he doesn't sit on the position, this world will be like a long night. Not to mention the 5 elders of the 5 regions. Even the 4 emperors, Emperor of Heaven, is worthy. If you want to apologize, bring out other conditions. This one doesn't count." Tai Bai Jinxing swallowed his anger and said, "What do you think?" The Monkey King pondered and said, "What you said before makes sense. After all, eating the statue can't be too unsightly. But I have to guard against you guys going back on your words. How about this? We can talk about my master's title later. You guys sit on my seat first." Tai Bai Jinxing was shocked. He looked at the Monkey King with a gaze that said, "You're actually such a monkey." Chapter 867. Don't try to deceive me. The titles in the heavenly court are real and not fake. If it's a fake title, so what? It's just a little louder. The title of Great Emperor Qi of heaven and earth is real. You want to fool me with a fake title. Do you really think I'm stupid? The Monkey King sneered. But now that the deity positions of heaven and earth are full, how can there be any vacancies? Tai Bai Jinxing frowned. "Little sage, don't make things difficult for me." Tai Bai Jinxing was conflicted. This fake title is easy to confer. It's not hard to say for Great Heavenly Venerate Jade Emperor. However, this monkey looks loyal on the surface. But I didn't expect him to betray his master. That fake title is more valuable than the 5 elders. After all, it's a noble title with no real power. However, Great Heavenly Venerate doesn't want the immeasurable Heavenly Venerate to extend his hand into the heavenly court. If I can sow discord between them, a fake title is worth it. The immeasurable Heavenly Venerate sent this monkey to cause trouble in order to ask for a title for himself. This monkey was greedy and messed things up, but he became the heavenly court's great emperor. How can the immeasurable Heavenly Venerate tolerate him? When the time comes, his backer will fall. What can he do even if he says that the title is real? This monkey hasn't seen much of the world. He doesn't know that the official positions in the heavenly court are layered and complicated, without earth-shattering means and a strong foundation. So what if he's real? Won't he still be a figurehead? Firstly, this monkey had no foundation. Secondly, he had no backing. In the heavenly court, he's just a toy that can be crushed by others. There's nothing to worry about. This is possible, but I have to ask Great Heavenly Venerate before I can decide. Tai by Jinxing ordered the Night Patrol God to send a message to Great Heavenly Venerate Jade Emperor. He continued to feign civility with the Monkey King. Little Sage. No. Now I have to call you Great Sage. Tai by Jinxing cupped his hands and said, I wonder what title you want? Wukong smiled and said, Although I am born with a spiritual background, I have the appearance of a beast. Of course, I have to command the demons in this world. There are tens of thousands of beasts, but the spiritual ones are under my control. Tai by Jinxing said carefully, Great Sage, these demons are called demons because they refuse to be controlled. In the heavenly courts, there were only the venerables who wiped out the demons and pacified them. There was no position to rule over the demons. What's more, all of them were born with spirits. If they obeyed, they became immortals and gods. If they disobeyed, they became demons. Those who obeyed the heavenly court were under the command of the great celestial sovereign, the Jade Emperor. They were immortals. So how could they be commanded by the great sage? As for those who disobeyed, what did the great emperor of the heavenly court have to do with them? When they see you, they might even try to kill you. What do you mean by that? The Monkey King laughed. Do you think I've never mingled with demons before? Those who disobeyed were all great fiendish demons. There were only 3 to 5 of them. Most of them were people from the heavenly courts and the spiritual mountain. Only with deep relationships could they live freely in the world. As for those little demons, it's not that they don't want to obey. It's that the heavenly courts don't want to accept them. Other than humans, all kinds of spirits can't become immortals without the tribulations and tortures. Many fear the heavenly courts. Those who wanted to submit were rejected. It's the heavenly courts that cut off the door for all spirits to submit. It's the heavenly courts that forced the spirits to become demons. Now that you say that they don't want to be controlled, then let me control them. I'll wipe out the demons and make all spirits into a kingdom, and I'll be the great emperor. Coincidentally, the heavenly courts don't have such a position. Let the Jade Emperor issue a decree to make me the leader of all spirits in the world. Other than humans, all of them will be under my control. I'll be the Demon Emperor, and I'll be the Jade Emperor. Isn't that perfect? This. Tai by Jinxing was troubled. This is unprecedented in the heavenly courts. I'm afraid the officials will be uneasy. Great Sage, don't make things difficult for me. There's no such rule. The Monkey King smiled. That's the fault of your great heavenly lord. After he became the Emperor of Heaven, he made humans the leader of all spirits and ruled over the 3 realms. However, all spirits in the world were abandoned. They were rejected outside the heavenly courts and had nowhere to go. Do you think there's no one to manage the demons? Before the Jade Emperor returned, there were mountain deities and river deities who led the demons. There were stars who ruled over all spirits. Now, the mountain deities are doing nothing. The stars are hidden, causing the demons in the human world to have no place to belong. This is the fault of the Jade Emperor. If you don't repent, are you going to continue to do this? I'm asking to be the demon emperor. It's in accordance with the will of the heavens. Why can't I? The Monkey King shouted. Tai-Bai Jinxing broke out in cold sweat and said with a trembling voice, "Even if the great emperor of all spirits appears, he might not be you, right? How dare he?" The Monkey King held the golden cudgel and sneered. "I'm also born of all spirits in the world. Who dares to be my emperor? Aren't you afraid that I'll beat him to death?" Tai-Bai Jinxing wanted to argue, but was interrupted by the Monkey King. "You old man, you're so long-winded. Tell me, are you going to grant me the title of Demon Emperor of all spirits?" Tai-Bai Jinxing broke out in cold sweat. Luckily, the Jade Emperor's imperial edict had arrived. It said yes. Tai-Bai Jinxing tried to figure out the imperial edict and thought, that's right. The Lord of all spirits has a high position and power, but he doesn't have a strong foundation. This Monkey King is ambitious, but he has offended his own master. Although he's strong, it doesn't matter. He has a strong foundation and leads the demons in the world. How can he convince the masses? The great demons in the world have a strong background and powerful abilities. Even the great Heavenly Lord is difficult to deal with. This Monkey King is willing to jump into the fire, so why should I care? Even if he has the support of the immeasurable Heavenly Lord, his magic power is unbelievably strong, and he has suppressed all the demons in the world. But the officials of the celestial heavens are stacked on top of each other. One official has many subordinates. He only commands the beings of all spirits in the world. There's Celestial Lord Gauchen, the East Mountain Celestial Lord who commands the mountain gods and the mountain demons. There's also the River God and Dragon Race who command the Water Race. There's the North Pole Emperor Jinwu and the Devil Rinsing, Heavenly Lord. With so many restraints, what can the Demon Emperor of all spirits do? In terms of grade, Celestial Lord Gauchen is higher than him. In terms of foundation, can he be stronger than the Four Seas Dragon Race and the East Mountain Earthly God? This isn't a battle of magical powers. Even if it's a battle of magical powers, can he be stronger than the Jinwu Emperor? In the end, it's still the great Heavenly Lord who plucks the peaches. Tai-Bai Jinxing sighed and said, I still have to ask the great Heavenly Lord to decide. However, great sage, the title of Demon Emperor of all spirits has never existed in the celestial heavens before. There's no precedent for that title either. Have you thought about it? By saying that, Tai-Bai Jinxing had already agreed to Monkey King's request. What he meant was that he was just going through the motions. The Monkey King knew and smiled. That East Mountain is the great emperor equal to heaven. He was defeated by me. All spirits in the world are the essence of creation and are equal to heaven. My title is equal to heaven. However, this title is very unlucky. It's better to turn it around and call it heaven's equal. I'll be the great emperor of all spirits, Demon Emperor, equal to heaven. Tai-Bai Jinxing said, humans are also one of the myriad spirits, and the human emperor is the subordinate of the human emperor. Therefore, the title of all spirits can't be added. I'll be the great emperor of all spirits, Demon Emperor, equal to heaven. The Monkey King didn't want to fuss over such trivial matters. However, he didn't know what Tai-Bai Jinxing was thinking. The titles of the great emperor of the celestial heavens were all based on the number of words. The more noble they were, the more words they had. With that, it was also a scheme to reduce the Monkey King's title from 8 words to 6 words. It was also a scheme. However, even if the Monkey King knew about it, he wouldn't take it to heart. The title of the celestial heavens was just a famous item. He did not really expect the title of the celestial heavens to be of any use. The Monkey King was bold and had long stopped caring about those things. Chapter 868. The Monkey King naturally had a better plan, but Lord Tai-Bai Jinxing was not an ordinary person. As long as he waited for the day, cruising God to return with the Grand Supreme Elder's Dharma body, or the spell to break the curse, things would change. However, the Monkey King had already set up an ambush in advance and taught Lord Tai-Bai Jinxing a lesson. On the other side, the Monkey King had a plan. The Grand Supreme Elder, who was sitting on the day cruising god, suddenly smiled and said, "Deity, don't go to the heavenly river again." Lord Tai-Bai Jinxing is impatient with the Monkey King's invitation. It's worth reporting to the Jade Emperor on his behalf and asking for an official position. The two of them are already heading to the numinous Sky Hall. Even if you go to the heavenly river, you won't be able to find the two of them. Why don't you turn around? The day cruising god did not suspect anything and turned towards the numinous Sky Hall. On the other side, the Monkey King pretended to be impatient and said anxiously, "Since you've already discussed with me, why don't you quickly ask the great Heavenly Venerable to release my title and settle it in front of the immortals and officials in the numinous Sky Hall? I'll release East Peak. If you continue cursing, I'm afraid he'll lose half his life." Lord Tai-Bai Jinxing only stammered. He knew that he could not deal with the Monkey King's urging. He said helplessly, "Great sage, it's disrespectful to the heavenly courts to ban the divine venerable. Why don't you let go of the great emperor of the East Peak temporarily to show your submission?" "Cut the crap," the Monkey King shouted. "The heavenly courts is very bureaucratic. If I don't hold on to your weaknesses, who knows how many twists and turns you can make and turn around to pinch me? Go, or I'll be blind." Lord Tai-Bai Jinxing could not do anything to this lawless monkey demon. He could only follow the Monkey King to the numinous Sky Hall. The Monkey King, who was behind them, shook his body unintentionally, causing his fur to fall off. The scenery of the heavenly palace was majestic and unique. The Monkey King, a little demon from the countryside, had never seen it before, so he was a little curious about it. However, the golden ship of fate in his hands was also impressive, so he did not show any vulgarity. Instead, he was calm and composed, with the demeanor of a demon emperor. Tai-Bai Jinxing led the Monkey King to the outside of the Divine Wind Palace. Without waiting for an edict, he went straight to the front of the emperor and paid his respects. The Monkey King stood at the side. He did not pay his respects, but listened attentively to Tai-Bai's report. "Your Majesty, we've brought the demon immortal who wreaked havoc in the Milky Way." Great Heavenly Venerable Jade Emperor asked, "Which one is it?" The Monkey King did not answer. Tai-Bai Jinxing gave him a look in panic, but he pretended not to see it. Tai-Bai Jinxing was helpless. He could only step out and say, "The one behind me, is it?" The Monkey King was like an old monk in meditation. He turned a deaf ear to everything, causing two heavenly generals who had been beaten up by the Monkey King to jump out and shout. "The demon from the lower world, the one with scales and horns, you don't know the rules. When you see His Majesty, you don't even kneel. When His Majesty asks you, you don't even answer. This is a great crime of disrespect. Please kill him to warn the world." Another heavenly master, Su, jumped out and reported to the Jade Emperor, "The demon from the lower world is disrespectful to the heavenly might. He should be sent to the path of beasts for 10 reincarnations and suffer the pain of the 18 levels of hell." "Heavenly Master, you're too serious." Tai-Bai Jinxing groaned in his heart. He could only come out and explain, "That Monkey King was only a few decades old and has never seen the world. Maybe he saw the heavenly countenance and was at a loss. As the saying goes, the ignorant are not guilty. How can such an ignorant mountain spirit be punished by the heavenly law? Great Heavenly Venerable, please show your holy virtue and forgive him." "Monkey King, do you know your crime?" one of the heavenly generals shouted. "It was the celestial heavens, Wu de Xingjun, so you also know that my name is Monkey King." Monkey King suddenly opened his eyes, and the divine light in his eyes startled the numinous Sky Hall. He stepped out and said, "I was born from the celestial stone of Mount Huagua. I worshipped Heavenly Father and Mother Earth. I'm psychic and know life and death. After that, I worshipped the Beyond Heaven's cult master, Immeasurable Heavenly Venerable. I learned the supreme Tao of celestials and divine arts. I once heard Sage Kong talk about ethics and pulled the ox cart for old Sage. When the three sages talked about Tao, I was also at the side and explained the principles of the three religions. My master is the leader of the human Tao sect, and my teacher is Teacher Kong Chiu, the Taoist Old Lord. Calling me fellow Taoist is what I deserve. Calling me Taoist priest is not wrong. Even if you call me teacher or student, I will accept it. Even if you didn't write down the etiquette, you still said my name when you called me Monkey King. Then, who was the demon immortal that caused havoc in the Celestial River? Monkey King shouted. How dare you! Impudent! Impudent monkey! Loud shouts could be heard coming from both sides of the court officials. Tai Bai Jinxing was terrified, thinking, this unruly monkey really has the temperament of a heavenly king. But Wukong only sneered. Defeated generals, clay chickens, and pottery dogs still dare to be rampant in front of me. He looked over, and the divine light in his eyes swept past the faces of the 36 heavenly generals, 36 thunder generals for marshals and god of thunder and goddess of lightning. It only made their hearts turn cold. A quantum erratic cloud of spiritual light rose behind Wukong's head. With just a press, it had the weight of countless mountains, suppressing the ministers to be unable to speak. Such a lawless act was indeed boundlessly savage. Tai Bai Jinxing said that it had the temperament of a heavenly emperor, but he was still young. At least the old man of the pagoda-bearing heavenly emperor wouldn't dare to make a scene in the numinous sky hall. The Monkey King stood tall in the Lingshao Hall while the officials remained silent. How majestic, how ferocious! As if he didn't put the Jade Emperor in his eyes at all. Luckily, the Jade Emperor was shrewd and no one could tell what he was thinking. He didn't get angry at the Monkey King's antics. Instead, he said calmly, Your cultivation is indeed profound, Jinren of the Tao. Jinren Monkey King, keep your divine arts. The Monkey King then bowed and replied, I understand. The Jade Emperor continued, Yesterday, the King of Qin sent Huang Biao up and said that there was a demon that caused havoc in the Qin court. He asked the celestial generals to come down and exterminate the demon. I ordered the Thunder Department to investigate. Is there any result? The 9 heavens, Thunder, Heavenly Lord stepped out and said, There is a conclusion. It was the King of Qin's servant, Tissot, who sowed discord and instigated the King of Qin to invite Laozi and the immeasurable Heavenly Lord to a banquet. This caused the 2 sages to be indignant and caused a commotion. This was a trivial matter in the mortal world and wasn't under the jurisdiction of the celestial court to exterminate the demon. After that, the god of thunder who came down to investigate believed the scoundrel's words and gave him a summons from the celestial court. This caused the human alchemist, Tissot, to invite the 5 mountains and 10,000 mountains to block Laozi's path to the west. This was a heaven-defying action. The Jinren, the Monkey King, fought with Laozi to protect the 2 sages' journey to the west. This resulted in the great Emperor of Dongyu. Due to the misunderstanding, Jinren Monkey King's lifespan was reduced, and the 2 fought at the Milky Way. The misunderstanding has been resolved. The great Emperor of Dongyu said that Jinren Monkey King had protected the 2 sages' journey to the west and was willing to hand over the position of the great emperor equal to heaven. This grand event of transforming the whose merit is for the celestial court to educate. As soon as this was said, the entire hall was in an uproar. Lord of martial virtue said, This Monkey King killed and injured countless celestial soldiers and generals, causing a great disaster. I don't know what spell he used to confuse the great Emperor of Dongyu. How can he convince the masses? This cannot be done. Not only can he not be given an official position, he must also be punished. With him taking the lead, many people who were beaten up by the Monkey King nodded their heads. Celestial Master Zhang reported, As the saying goes, if one's virtue does not match the position, there will be a great disaster. Even if the great Emperor of Dongyu was willing to hand over the position, this Monkey King has no foundation, no virtue, and no merit to the heaven and earth. How can he be worthy of the throne? Chapter 869. Celestial Master Zhang sneered. Convincing the masses is a virtue, obeying the heavens is a merit. Monkey King, although you have some merit in protecting the old lord, not to mention the fact that you have not done your best, even if your merit is complete, you are only worthy of a Taoist sect's protector. You can be considered a fourth-grade miscellaneous general. How can you take up the throne? You should just keep your wishful thinking to yourself. Celestial Master Zhang flipped his sleeves. Obeying the heavens for merit. Wukong said, now that the master of all living beings in the world has been vacant for a long time, it should have been the earth river god under the command of the Eastern Mountain Monarch to lead the people on his fief who have gained sentience. Other than humans who are born with intelligence and are led by the human emperor, all living beings in the world who have gained sentience and have not been able to be ranked among the immortals have the mountain god and the earth god, the river god and the dragon palace, the Gochin upper palace and the heavenly emperor, and the Jinmu great emperor to control them so that they won't become demons outside of the rule. Now that the demons have gathered, where are the rules of the heaven court? Monkey King shouted, all the spirits in the world are unrestrained. The earth god is free. The North Star Emperor is in hiding, and the Jinmu Great Emperor only knows how to slay the demons, but doesn't know how to deal with them. The demons know the Mountain King, but don't know his majesty. They are controlled by the demon sage, but not the rules of the heaven court. Even the netherworld is being blackmailed by the powerful demons. Where are the rules of the heaven and earth? Now that the East Mountain Monarch knows that he can't control the demons, he gave me the title to lead all the spirits in the world. Isn't that following the will of the heaven and earth? What's the difference? Tai Bai Jinxing knew his place and stepped out after getting the Monkey King's look. Monkey King's words are biased, but they make sense. Great Heavenly Venerable, why don't we follow the East Mountain Monarch's wishes and give him the title of Heaven's equal Demon Emperor? He will rule all the demons in the world, wipe out all the demons in the world, and establish the rules of the Heaven Court. Jade Emperor nodded slightly, and the immortals said, so the great Heavenly Venerable wants to fill the pit with this monkey. Are all the demons in the world easy to control? Those who didn't have a strong background were all wiped out by Jinwu, Great Emperor. The rest are either extremely powerful or have deep connections. This Heaven's equal Demon Emperor is just a trap. There are so many immortals in the 3 realms who are raising those demons. You can't touch them. Someone immediately guessed the Emperor's intention, and the number of people who opposed was reduced by half. However, Celestial Master Zhang still said stubbornly, how many virtuous experts in the celestial courts can't be the ruler of all living beings? Yet you, a child who can't convince the masses, have to ascend to a high position? Even if you have the merit of obeying the heavens, do you have the virtue to convince the masses? Who will serve you? I can't accept this. How can this demonic monkey be called the Venerable One? The strange cries below were exactly what Celestial Master Zhang had said. Wukong, on the other hand, was unperturbed. Instead, he smiled and said, convincing the masses makes some sense. However, this great emperor, Heaven's equal, led all living beings, gathered demons as his subordinates, and turned demons into obedient people. Such a venerable emperor, if he wanted to convince the masses, he would have to subdue demons with virtue and gain their support. Celestial Master Zhang, do you agree? Celestial Master Zhang nodded and said, of course. The immortals in the hall snickered. This Celestial Master Zhang is really cunning. He even tricked that demonic monkey. That demonic monkey was only born for tens of years, and he became the disciple of the Beyond Heaven sect master. He didn't have any friends and was only famous among the demons. On the other hand, that Celestial Master Zhang has a strong foundation and is friends with many demon immortals. It seems like this old man is interested in his title. The Monkey King continued, then if I raise my arm and call for the masses to respond with many followers and all the demons in the world, can I be the great Emperor Heaven's equal? Although Celestial Master Zhang was doubtful, He knew that the Monkey King didn't have a strong foundation, so he said, "If that's the case, I can recommend you to the great emperor. Heaven's equal together with the officials in the hall." "That's great." The Monkey King suddenly soared into the sky and shouted, "Where are the ones who respect me as the great emperor? Heaven's equal." "The old Taoist is here." A response came, and everyone turned around to see the old lord in a Taoist robe sitting on the back of the sun, cruising God. He shouted in front of the Lingshao Hall, "Perfected Monkey King is a person of virtue and prestige. He deserves this position." Celestial Master Zhang's expression changed. "Old Lord," Taishang Old Lord winked and said, "Not only me. When I passed by the southern heavenly gate, I saw many fellow Taoists hearing that perfected Monkey King was asking to be the demon emperor. They were all excited and came to ask the great emperor, but they were stopped by the 4 heavenly kings. I pitied their sincerity, so I brought them in." Just as he finished speaking, countless auspicious clouds soared. In the clouds, heavenly flowers were spinning and wonderful sounds could be heard. There were people holding flower drums, pipa, golden umbrellas, cranes, and dragons. Countless immortals gathered together, and the clouds covered the sky, almost covering the entire 33 heavens. It was really a sky full of celestial light. Celestial Master Su shouted, "Why are there so many unfamiliar itinerant immortals in the 3 realms? Are they mortals of the 10 continents and 3 islands, nothing more than this? How did this Monkey King cultivate good karma to have such immortals asking for his orders?" Celestial Master Zhang asked suspiciously, "Why do these Taoists look so unfamiliar?" The white-haired old immortal in the lead rode a crane and said, "We are all ancient immortals before the Dragon Han calamity, the latest immortals to obtain Tao during the 3 sovereigns era. Although we are itinerant immortals with no rank or rank, we have also heard of Taoist Monkey King's name. We deeply agree with him asking to be the demon emperor, so we came together to ask for his orders. Perfected Monkey King is in line with the will of the heavens. We congratulate Taoist Monkey King." The sky full of itinerant immortals said in unison, "We congratulate Taoist Monkey King." Celestial Master Zhang's face turned pale, and he said, "This demon monkey actually has so many people's hopes. Could he really be the son of Providence? Otherwise, why would there be so many ancient immortals asking for his orders?" The Monkey King smiled and said, "I understand your good intentions. This numinous sky hall is the sacred presence of the great heavenly venerable. You shouldn't disturb it. Leave." As soon as he finished, countless auspicious clouds descended, and immortal light scattered in all directions, hiding in the 3 realms. The Monkey King asked, "How about this? Is Celestial Master Zhang convinced?" Celestial Master Zhang's lips trembled, but he still said with a strong will, "I'm not convinced. We have already agreed that the Demon Emperor needs the support of all the demon spirits in the world. What use are these heaven and earth itinerant immortals?" As soon as he said this, the 4 heavenly kings came to report in a panic, their faces pale. "Report! Great heavenly venerable!" Countless demons came out of nowhere and fought their way to the southern heavenly gate, raising their banners and shouting. Among them there are thousands of powerful demon kings, countless demon soldiers and demon generals, and they seem to have the intention to attack the celestial palace. They are speaking nonsense. Please judge them, great heavenly venerable. The Jade Emperor asked, "What did those demons say?" The 4 heavenly kings looked troubled. The Jade Emperor ordered the Qianli Yen to bring the demon illuminating mirror and shine it outside the south heaven gate. He saw a demonic wind sweeping and black clouds filling the sky. The stench of blood rushed into the sky. The demonic clouds and demonic fog covered the sky. There were more than 600 demon kings and great sages, including the Rock King, the White Elephant King, the Azure Lion King, the Macaque King, the Flood Dragon King, the Yellow Tiger King, the Spirit Leopard King, the Great Whale King, and the Thin Dog King. They blocked the South Heaven Gate and raised their flags. If the Monkey King didn't rule the world, the demons would be like a long night. The sun rises in the east, Monkey King. The heavens equal Demon Emperor. The celestial river stone man with one eye incites the demons in the world to rebel. In the future, I will be the emperor of heaven of Chi and repay the world to return to its kind. Suddenly, the heavens equal grinds the pole, and the emperor's star shakes high. Enter the heavenly gate with a knife and hold the king's head. I can replace him, live as the demon emperor, die as the emperor. Chapter 870. Cold sweat covered Tai Bai Jinxing's forehead, and he used his sleeves to wipe it off carefully. He moved closer to Monkey King and said softly, "Monkey King, little sage, you have passed, you have passed. Quickly disperse those demons, if not, the rewards will be gone, and a disaster will befall us." Monkey King said lazily, "Old man, what are you talking about? The demons outside the southern heavenly gate are pleading for the lives of the world. Even if I have a small reputation, I am just serving the lives of the world. How can there be such a ruckus? This is the voice of the demons. All the demons in the world have suffered from the tyranny of the heavenly court. In this land where evil flowers bloom, may democracy. Great sage." Tai Bai Jinxing gritted his teeth and interrupted him. "Great Heavenly Venerable has decided that you will be the Demon King." "But—" Monkey King waved his hand. "No, buts, I can't do this. You guys can find someone else." "Great Sage Monkey King, you have to consider this carefully." Tai Bai Jinxing said solemnly. Wukong only grinned and ignored him. Among the demons below, an azure-clothed scholar soared into the sky and sang. Now the myriad demons have gathered for the sake of enforcing justice on behalf of heaven. The heavens are unfair. To think that there are tens of thousands of creatures in this world. There is no end to life and death. They live in the morning and die in the evening, sinking into the sea of bitterness. We were born as ignorant birds and beasts or ignorant plants and trees, hunting and killing each other. Fortunately, we were able to absorb the essence of the sun and moon, gaining spiritual wisdom and no longer mingling with other races. We are also one of the tens of thousands of creatures in this world. How are we different from humans? We should be educated, enlightened, and enlightened. We shouldn't drink blood and eat fur and act like ignorant beasts. When the human race was ignorant, didn't they do this too? In the three realms, there should be a place for us, the demon race, to build a country, to be kings, just like the story of the human emperor. We want to establish a demon country, honor the demon king, educate, build a system, respect the heavens and earth, and diversify the culture. Let the demons and humans be equal in this world. Let the spirits of tigers and rabbits be on the same level. But let those with sentience not eat each other. I have a poem that describes the grand occasion of today's gathering. When the new year arrives, I shall dye the blue skies with my demon blood. Soaring into the sky, the demonic aura penetrates the southern sky, and the entire court wears red turban armor. How dare you! A furious roar came from the sky as Dhritarashtra plucked the pipa in his hand. A wave of murderous music descended from the lower realm, causing the killing intent in all directions to shatter and the auspicious clouds to scatter. If such a great art of killing were to land in the midst of the demons, it would definitely cause a bloodbath and countless demons to shatter. However, that green snake king wasn't afraid at all. On the contrary, he blew his horn, and the sound of the horn shook the 9 heavens. Dhritarashtra's pipa danced even faster before he could barely resist. The 2 yellow ox kings and black ox king took down the war drums on their waists and started beating them. The vibrations of the drums were the result of the Monkey King secretly distorting space and emitting gravitational waves. The 4 heavenly kings had set up a formation, but they were all struck by the gravitational waves and were heavily injured, vomiting blood. Green Snake King won the battle and became even more arrogant. He approached the southern heavenly king and challenged, "Those who support the great sage Monkey King and become the demon sovereign of the celestial heavens shall wear the red turban and armor with me. If the celestial heavens agrees with us, then we shall surrender and accept the betrayal. We shall go down to establish a country and educate all living beings. We shall obey the heavens and use the red turban as a flag to congratulate the great sage Monkey King. If he doesn't, then we shall wear my armor and cultivate our spear to kill our way up to the 9 heavens. Change the world. Kill." Green Snake King roared angrily as he wore the red turban and armor. When the demons in the sky heard that, they said in unison, "Let's listen to Green Snake King. If the celestial heavens doesn't agree with us, then we shall fight to the death and kill our way in from the southern heavenly gate. We shall kill our way to His Highness Ling Shao treasure and ask the great heavenly venerable Jade Emperor." Immediately, the red turban spread out, and the sound of weapons rang out. All the demons put on their armor. Their momentum caused the celestial heavens to be in chaos. The lower realm also heard about it. A day in the sky was a year in the lower realm. Now that 2 months had passed in the lower realm, the demons in the 4 major continents heard about it. Many demon kings summoned their demon soldiers and went up to the sky to participate in this grand event. The southern heavenly king looked down. The demon armies from all directions were endless and merged into the crowd of demons. Their momentum was even stronger. Other than the Monkey King's monkey for army, there were 6 other demon kings. The most famous ones were the Bull Demon King of Jile Mountain, the Dragon Demon King of the West Sea, the Rock Demon King, the Lion Camel King, the Macaque King, and the Luo King. They were known as the 6 Demon Kings. Other than the heavens' equal demon army, they were the strongest force. There were countless demon kings on other small mountains. When they heard that the demons surrounded the celestial heavens to worship the demon emperor, they didn't want to miss even the most remote demon king. 40% of the world's demons came, which was even larger than the Monkey King's monkey for army. However, Wukong's hair doppelganger was the first to arrive and had the greatest influence. Although it was previously unknown, it had now shocked the world. All the demons in the world came from remote and desolate places, so they weren't well informed. Other than a few great demons who knew that the great sage, Heaven's Equal, originally had no background, the other demon kings only knew that Wukong was an old demon who could shake the heavens and earth in the 3 realms. It was just that they were ill-informed and had never heard of him. As a result, countless demons came to seek refuge. Under Goku's command, not to mention the Monster Hair Army, even the small demons who sought refuge with him were the most powerful and had the most number of demons among the few monster kings. Among the demon armies, everyone was wearing armor and red scarves. The other 6 demon kings had mixed colors and were very inconspicuous. They were drowned in the support of the Monkey King. Bull Demon King saw that the main force wasn't there, so he gathered the other 5 demon kings and said, "That great emperor equal to heaven, Monkey King, I've never heard of his background or his achievements. He's just a nobody. How can he be compared to you brothers, who are famous? I've heard news about him. He's a small demon from Aeoli Nation. He became the disciple of the limitless cult master and protected the old lord on his journey to the west. How can such a cowardly person be the emperor of us demons?" The Macaque King sneered. "Who doesn't know about the great sage, Heaven's Equal's shocking actions? You, Bull Demon King, can compare to him? He became the disciple of an expert and went to the west to educate the barbarians. 100,000 mountains came to stop him, and the celestial army attacked, but he swallowed them all. The demons around Mount Zhongnan saw it with their own eyes. He swallowed the 80,000 mountains and the people on them. He didn't even spit out the bones." Rock Demon King, Lion Camel King, and Yu Yang King nodded and said, "How savage! How terrifying! We only found one person to eat every few days, but the amount he ate in one bite is more than what we ate in our entire lives. Such a savage person. He really deserves to be the Demon King. Macaque King continued, "Think about the thunder division of the heavenly heavens. How savage are they? All the demons in the world are helpless against them. Which one of you dares to provoke them?" The 36 Thunder Generals, Thunder God, Lightning Mother, Mount Tai Shurgondang, the 36 heavenly generals of the battle division. How many powerful characters are there? They are the fierce generals of the heavenly heavens. They are famous. But didn't that Monkey King still use a stick to break their bones and make them into meatballs to eat? The other demon kings nodded and said, "That makes sense. This demon is extraordinary. He deserves the name of Monkey King." Bull Demon King stood up in anger and laughed. "On my Jile Mountain, there are bald donkeys from the west who come to find trouble every year. Arhats and protectors have been defeated countless times. How can they be any weaker than him?" Yu Yang King persuaded. "Bull Demon King is also famous. His prestige dominates Mount Lingshan. He is indeed the overlord of us demons. But compared to that Monkey King, he is still a little weaker." Bull Demon King was unconvinced and said, "Tell me, what do I lack compared to him?" Yu Yang King said, "You defeated the soldiers of Mount Lingshan, but how many of their generals did you kill?" Bull Demon King said gloomily that Mount Lingshan has the 8 treasures merit pool. Even if their golden bodies are destroyed, they can be reborn with the golden lotus. How can I kill them? Macaque King laughed and said, "But the celestial court also has the immortal gathering pool. And how many golden bodies did you destroy?" At this point, Bull Demon King did not dare to speak anymore. It was true that he failed to destroy the golden bodies of the Arhats and Bodhisattvas of Spirited Mountain. It was not that the Bull Demon King was not powerful, but he did not have a master like Chen Ong to help him plot and block the reinforcements of Spirited Mountain. "You two are of the same race as that Monkey King. Speak up for him." Demon King Jiao said coldly, his vertical pupils staring at Macaque King and Yu Yang King. The 2 Demon Kings hurriedly denied. Although they did have such intentions, the Monkey King's influence was too great and he had become the target of everyone. The 6 Demon Kings were secretly angry at him for being too arrogant and arrogant. He actually dared to ask for the Demon Kings help and climb over their heads. The 2 of them did not dare to anger the crowd and speak up for the Monkey King again. The few Demon Kings discussed, but none of them were willing to submit. Even Bull Demon King's suggestion to unify the flag to fight against the heaven's equal demon army was not passed. In the end, Bull Demon King slammed the table and said angrily, "Damn it! That Monkey King is called the Monkey King. If he wants to be the Demon King, we cannot lose to him. Let's raise the flag first. I, Bull Demon King, am also the great sage who pacifies the heavens." Chapter 871. In the Heaven Court, the Celestials were debating about the appointment of the Monkey King as the Demon King. Not long later, Spirit Officer Yu came to reporting to the great Heavenly Lord, "There are 6 Demon Kings outside the southern Heavenly Gate. All of them are ferocious and powerful. Each of them leads 100,000 demon army, and they call themselves the 6 Great Sages. They want to be on equal footing with the Monkey King and compete for the position of Demon King." Jade Emperor asked, "There's such a thing? Which Demon Kings are they?" The Bull Demon King of Jile Mountain calls himself the Great Sage of Heaven Leveling. The Dragon Demon King of East Sea calls himself the Great Sage of Ocean Toppling. The Rock Demon King calls himself the Great Sage of Chaotic Heavens. The Camel Lion King calls himself the Great Sage of Mountain Shifting. The Macaque King calls himself the Great Sage of Ventilation. And the Yuling King calls himself the Great Sage of Exorcism. They want to be together with the Monkey King as the 7 Great Sages. They will rule over the demons, and the strongest will be the Emperor, Spirit Officer Yu reported. The 4 Celestial Masters, suddenly had an idea. They suddenly stepped out of the ranks and reporting to the great heavenly venerable. Since there are such heroes in the lower realm, why don't we confer them the title of Demon Emperor? Just like the 10 kings of hell, they can manage the affairs of the demons and devils in the world. Marshal Ma even came out and added, the 10 halls Yanluo can only be called kings. How can we let the demon emperors who manage the demons and demons surpass them? Why don't we make them the 7 great sages and enter the celestial records? They will be considered as the 7 demons that the heaven court recruited. We will use demons to control the demons and use them to suppress the other demon kings. Their ranks will be the first rank, and they will be considered as a straggler. The Jade Emperor smiled and turned to the Monkey King. Monkey King, stop chanting. The Monkey King then stopped the band-tightening incantation and stopped urging the Dongyu monarch to come up to the Lingxiao Hall. If the heaven court's celestial officials and generals continued to push him, the Monkey King would have to ask the Dongyu monarch to come and talk to them. Luckily, the Jade Emperor knew that he had a hostage and stopped him. The 6 demons from the lower world want to compete with you for the throne. This is the result of all the living beings in the 3 realms, the demons and devils, and the hearts of the people. What do you think, great sage Monkey King? The Monkey King said, those 6 country bumpkins probably don't even know how to read. How can they bear such a heavy responsibility? The revered position of the demon sovereign could only be attained by those who were virtuous, knowledgeable, wise, brave, and strong. I, old son, can say that I'm a man of virtue, wisdom, and courage. How can they be worthy of that? Once old son subdues them, he can be a general under my command. If that's the case, the Jade Emperor said, once you leave the southern heavenly gate and subdue the 6 demon kings, you can be the heaven's equal demon, sovereign, great emperor. You can command all the demons and devils in the world and be the revered demon sovereign. After the Jade Emperor made his promise, the entire Lingxiao Hall fell silent. No one dared to say anything else. This was all within the Monkey King's calculations. The demons outside the southern heavenly gate were most likely summoned by him. Otherwise, how could the 4 continents be shocked by the demons' encirclement of the southern heavenly gate in just 2 months' time? Without the Monkey King's doppelgangers running around in the deep mountains and forests, how could those country bumpkins hear about it? There was no Weibo or Facebook in this world. The Jade Emperor only needed to send a short message, and the whole 3 realms would know about it. Communication depended on rumors and slander. Someone had to add fuel to the fire. Not only could the swindled demons build momentum, they could also recruit soldiers and buy horses. Even the future core subordinates had to bring their own rations. Otherwise, other than a group of trusted aides in the mountain of flowers and fruits, the Monkey King would be alone. How could he command all living beings, establish the demon court, and establish the demon kingdom? He needed these demons to fill the numbers. If he could subdue the 6 country bumpkins outside, the Monkey King, the demon sovereign, would be able to become the most powerful demon king in the world with the most territory. It would be equivalent to swindling a foundation and being conferred a title by the heavenly court. He would be a true demon sovereign. It would not be an empty title without a foundation and could be easily overthrown. Adding on Chanong behind him, the Monkey King would have a foundation and a backer. He would be able to sit firmly on the throne. As for whether he could dominate the 3 realms and threaten the authority of the Jade Emperor, like Emperor Ziwei and the East Mountain Monarch, it would depend on what happened in the future. When Wukong came out of the southern heavenly gate, he looked at the loose Taoist robe he was wearing and felt somewhat embarrassed. He muttered, "Those demons are all boastful and want face. Although this coarse Taoist robe looks neat, it will make them look down on me. If I don't bring a good set of armor, how can I, old son, hold up my face?" As soon as he thought about it, there was a response. A few rays of spiritual light flew from the sky and landed in Wukong's hands. Wukong was overjoyed when he saw it. "Master, you're so thorough." The spiritual light that fell was one of the few that flew away when Wukong stole the diamond bracelet. It was a top-notch mighty armor. There was a phoenix feather crown on his head, a golden chainmail on his body, lotus root silk cloud-walking shoes on his feet, and a bright red cloak. It was the heaven and earth flaming cloud cloak. When worn, one would look mighty and domineering. The Monkey King walked to the southern heavenly gate. His small size made him look majestic, so he turned into an ape. He was 8 feet tall and had a dignified appearance. He stood under the southern heavenly gate with his cloak fluttering in the wind. Below him, there were countless demons wearing red scarves and armor. They occupied the center and had the strongest aura. Countless monster kings were leading the banners in front. With a glance, although most of them were monkey hairs, about 40% were new monster kings. There were a total of 108 monster kings. With the addition of the monkey hairs, there were 360 monster kings, which corresponded to the number of Zhou Tian. The monster army under the banner was endless. Demonic aura shot up to the clouds, causing the Ling Shao Palace to be unstable. Beside the red army that covered the entire sky, there were a few other demon armies of different colors. However, they only took up 30% of the army. Their flags were messy and looked even more dismal compared to the heaven's equal demon army. Upon closer inspection, one could see that there were 6 demon armies that occupied the majority of the army. Among the Red Scarf Monster Army, not many true monsters had seen the Monkey King before. When they saw the majestic Monkey King coming out from the southern heavenly gate, they were a little worried. Luckily, they had the help of the monkey hair clone. Green Snake Monster King raised his arm and shouted, "Greetings, heaven's equal Monster King!" Instantly, countless monsters bowed their heads and shouted loudly outside the southern heavenly gate, "Greetings, heaven's equal Monster King!" Then, outside the southern heavenly gate, countless monster armies, including the 6 monster kings, were shocked by the earth-shattering aura. They could not help but shout, "Greetings, heaven's equal Monster King!" Immediately, the subordinate demon kings of the 6 demon kings secretly changed their banners and joined the heaven's equal demon army. The expressions of the 6 demon kings changed at the same time. They felt a sound wave sweep through the 3 realms, shaking their minds. Demon King Jiao said, "Brothers, if this goes on, we will be alone." The Bull Demon King looked at the 2 young bull demons beside him and looked at the great sage, heaven's equal, with a look of longing. He wanted nothing more than to be under the command of the great emperor, heaven's equal, and become a disciple of the heaven's equal. He slapped the 2 of them away and said angrily, "Even the demon soldiers of my clan are so cowardly. My brothers, we can't watch Sun Wukong be so arrogant. We must destroy his prestige so that we can compete with him for the position of Demon Emperor. Greetings, heaven's equal Monster King." The sound wave traveled to the Lingshao Palace of the Golden Arches. The immortals were shocked, and the Jade Emperor's expression changed. Wukong lifted the golden cudgel and pointed at the 6 demon kings. "Are you the 6 demon kings who want to be called great sages with me and compete for the title of Demon Emperor?" The millions of heaven's equal demon army turned their heads and stared at the 6 demon kings. As the saying goes, if you are condemned by 1,000 people, you will die without a cause. The mixed-colored monster army under the 6 monster kings was fine and didn't have anything else in their eyes. However, 60% of the true demons under the heaven's equal monster army had been subdued by the Monkey King. Now that they heard that someone wanted to compete with them for the position of Monster King, their eyes were filled with killing intent. Under the murderous gazes of the millions of monster army, even the 6 monster kings couldn't help but feel worried. It was the Bull Demon King who stood out and said, "Monkey King, you fought against East Peak and have indeed raised the prestige of us demons. But now that you are with the heavenly court and claim the title of Monster King, I, the Bull Demon King, am the first to be dissatisfied. How can the title of Monster King be conferred by that old jade emperor of the heavenly court. It should be elected by all the demons in the world. Now that you have submitted to the heavenly court and are no longer one of us demons, you are not fit to be the supreme monster king. Let me take it." The Monkey King smiled. "Is your position of monster king also elected by the demons under you? How can there be a reason to choose an emperor in this world? Among the demons, the strong rule. Why would I need you to respect me as the monster king? Then I will act on my own and divide the power? Naturally, I will beat you until you are convinced. Among the demons, I will be the king, and I will sweep through the world and sweep away all heroes. My heart will be the heart of all demons, and my Tao will be the Tao of all demons. Bull Demon King, I have heard that you have occupied Jile Mountain and rejected the Buddhas of Mount Spirited. But what capabilities do you have to be on par with me, the Monkey King? I would like to learn from you." The Monkey King laughed. "Who else wants to compete with me for the position of Monster King? Come out at once." Chapter 872. How dare you? How arrogant! Demon King Jiao, Demon King Rock, and the rest yelled. They raised their weapons. One wielded an iron rod, had horns on his head, and was clad in bronze armor. He was the Bull Demon King, who called himself the Great Sage, who pacifies the heavens. Another wielded a trident and was covered in scales and armor. He was Demon King Jiao, the King of the Four Seas and the Bane of the Dragon Palace. The last one wielded a golden drum with phoenix wings. His brows were high, and his forehead was sunken. He was the Great Sage of Chaotic Heavens, Rock Demon King. These three were the most skilled in martial arts among the 6 demon kings. The other 3 demon kings were inferior to them. Moreover, Demon King Jiao and Demon King Yuan were from the same clan as the Monkey King. This made the other brothers wary. Therefore, they only stood at the side and made a show of strength. Not only did the other demon kings not trust them, but they also had the intention of joining the Monkey King's side when they saw his strength. The Monkey King was only lazy. How could the 6 demon kings arouse his fighting spirit? If that's all you have, don't show it off. Come into my palm. Only when you jump out of my palm will you be worthy to fight me. If you can't, then die. I can turn the sky upside down. If you can't escape, you're dead. With that, the Monkey King stretched out a furry claw and opened it. Infinite dimensions twisted on the center of the claw. With this claw, there seemed to be infinite mass between the 5 fingers, sucking the space tens of thousands of miles outside the southern heavenly gate. The Bull Demon King, the other demon kings, and the demon soldiers behind them felt that the Monkey King's hand suddenly expanded to the size of a mountain, covering the sky and the sun. It seemed to cover the sky of the heavenly courts. In the eyes of the 4 heavenly kings, the heavens' equal demon army, and the heavenly court's generals outside the southern heavenly gate, the Bull Demon King, the other demon kings, and their subordinates seemed to be sucked into the Monkey King's palm. However, this mystique that could take the sun and the moon and shrink 1,000 mountains was actually very simple. It was just taking the space where the 6 demon kings were, as well as the infinite void, into his hand. What kind of mystic art is this monkey using? The Rock Demon King shouted, "5th brother, 6th brother, although you are of the same race as that monkey, he may not remember this little bit of friendship. If we continue to hold back, we will all die. You are from the same clan as him. So can you tell what kind of divine ability this is? What kind of method is this? Grabbing the sun and moon, shrinking 1,000 mountains, distinguishing between right and wrong, manipulating the universe." The Macaque King panicked. "Didn't this guy say that he jumped out from a rock? Why are you showing off your long-armed ape monkey skills?" King Yushang also said in fear, "I thought it was a spiritual stone monkey. How would I know that this guy has such divine art transformations? We've been tricked. We've been cheated." The Macaque King cried out, "I initially thought that it was a spiritual stone monkey. Who would have thought that this fellow would lie to us? I heard that in the land of the true kingdom of the non-John continent there is a long-armed ape monkey. He learned the sword from the mystic fairy and is most proficient in sword techniques. However, I heard that he is a white ape and people call him Mr. Ape. Who cares if he is a male ape or a female ape? I can travel 90,000 miles with a flap of my wings, and my speed is the fastest in the 3 realms. Every year, it doesn't take many hours to travel from the North Underworld outside the North Continent to the South Underworld. No matter how big his body is, can he be bigger than the distance between the North Underworld and the South Underworld and the size of the 4 continents? Brothers, wait for me. I'll fly out of his palm and save all of you from the outside. The Rock Demon King shouted. The Monkey King had a pair of hairy hands and many monkey hairs on his palms. Even though half of them had fallen off and transformed into immortals and demons, there were still monkey hairs on his palms that were like mountains. The Monkey King clenched his fists and smiled. I can't let you fly out. The boundless void in the palm was curved and sealed, forming a closed space-time. However, it was empty like a primordial world. The Monkey King puffed up his cheeks and mixed the essence chi in his mouth. Then he circulated his aura, and yin and yang opened up. The yin and yang split apart, and all kinds of Kane essence chi became postnatal. 3,000 types of essence chi were separated. Among them, the great yang, great yin, and lesser yin descended. Then, the great yin and great yang condensed into stars. The Monkey King closed his mouth as if he was holding the sun and moon, while the lesser yin and lesser yang gave birth to all things. Halfway through the evolution of the Yuan Qi world in his mouth, Wukong stretched his clenched fist to his mouth and blew a breath of air into it. The Rock Demon King flapped his wings hundreds of times. He was so fast that he couldn't even open his eyes. He felt a huge star that was emitting endless true fire of the sun in front of him. Then a huge black vortex that seemed to occupy half of the world spat out a violent essence chi storm. Countless stars were blown out by the wind, and mountains and rivers crashed into him. He hurriedly stopped his wings. It was wind, rain, thunder, and lightning seemed to come out of it. The sun, moon, and stars seemed to come out of it. Why did the sun fly out from here? The Rock Demon King landed in a panic, dodging the endless storm spewed out by the huge vortex. He thought in fear, did I fly too far in my panic? I've never flown so desperately before. Could I have flown past the 4 poles and reached the end of the world? That black hole, could it be the legendary eye of the sea where the sun and moon rest and swallow and spit out the universe, the ultimate? That monkey's big talk gave me a fright. In my panic, I flew so far away. The ultimate is far north of the northern underworld, beyond the 4 poles. According to the legends, the sun and moon all returned to it. After the Long Bow Kingdom people took away the divine turtles, the celestial mountains beyond the seas also fell into the ultimate. It's the end of the 4 continents, the end of the universe. The Rock Demon King sighed and said, I didn't expect to fly here, but it's very dangerous here. If I fall into the ultimate, even I won't be able to escape. I'd better go back and find that shameless monkey and save the other demon kings. The Rock Demon King flew all the way back. After he flew past a huge mountain that could hold up the sky, he saw a frozen and bitter black sea. The Rock Demon King turned back and looked at the huge pillar that seemed to hold up the entire non-John section continent and said, Is this the 4 poles that hold up the sky? It's indeed extraordinary and magnificent. Outside, the Monkey King clenched his fist and said with a smile, What is that country bumpkin demon talking to my thumb? The Monkey King clenched his fist so that he wouldn't crush the 6 demon kings inside. His thumb was pinched in his palm, so it could be seen by the Rock Demon King. If the Rock Demon King flew in another direction, he would discover that the other 3 poles didn't exist. The Rock Demon King continued to fly back. After flying millions of miles of Black Sea, he saw the border of the land in the distance. but the place was very unfamiliar. The Rock Demon King lost his direction and could only fly into the sky, hoping to fly to the southern heavenly gate and return to the battlefield. But after flapping his wings dozens of times, he still couldn't see the familiar 33 heavens. In the end, the Monkey King lost his patience. With a thought, a monkey hair fell from his palm and transformed into his true form to stop the Rock Demon King. The Rock Demon King saw a monkey that was as big as a mountain suddenly appear not far away. The monkey also clenched its claws and looked at him with a grin. The Rock Demon King laughed and said, "Great, great sage, heaven's equal. You want to control us brothers in your hands after making a heavenly law embodiment. I was careless and fell into your trap. But do you think you can trap me with my supernatural power? Quickly release my brothers," the Rock Demon King shouted. "Otherwise I'll teach you a lesson." "Bird Demon King, what are you doing?" The Monkey King chuckled and said, "Your brothers are still waiting for you." Before the Rock Demon King could argue, the Monkey King struck with his rod. He couldn't block it or escape. The Rock Demon King raised the phoenix wing gilded drum in his hand. Just as he stabbed the rod, he felt a boundless force coming at him. He couldn't help but be knocked down to the lower realm. Chapter 873. Monkey King could see the fear and anger of the 6 demon kings clearly. He thought to himself, "Those 6 demon kings are indeed extraordinary. They are the top figures among the demons. Among the millions of heaven's equal demon army that I swindled, there are no such figures. Those demon kings that are on the same level as them are formed from my hair. My teacher taught me to set up such a deceiving plan so that I can create a demon army out of nothing. This will strengthen my foundation as a demon emperor and make me worthy of my name. I, old son, am in need of such loyal subordinates. Otherwise, it would be too weak for me to take on the heaven-equal Fey Empire alone. Therefore, I definitely cannot let these 6 great fiendish demons go. That Macaque King and Yushin King are still all right. They are of the same race and are easier to talk to, now that they have wavered. It is just that they have not seen my prowess with their own eyes. It will not be difficult to recruit them. That Lion Camel King looks like a man, but he is actually quite cunning and weak. If Macaque King and Yushin King come to an agreement secretly, they can be recruited. Only the other 3 demon kings, Bull Demon King Aoji, Dragon Demon King is sinister, and Rock Demon King is arrogant. They are all difficult to subdue. Let's not talk about Bull Demon King. He is a stubborn bull. Once he is stubborn, he will never submit. However, this bull is arrogant. To subdue him, it will not be easy. I have to press down his horns and pull his nose ring. Dragon Demon King is a venomous dragon. This demon is very shrewd. Under pressure, it is not difficult to make him submit on the surface. However, he has many sinister tricks hidden in his heart. If you want to use him, you have to break his poisonous fangs and tighten the ropes. The last one is Rock Demon King. He is very arrogant. If I want to subdue him, I will have to use some tricks. The great sage, Heaven's Equal, suddenly laughed and said, "Regardless of which of the 6 demon kings it is, if you want them to submit to me, the great emperor, Heaven's Equal, you'll have to use your world-shaking magical powers to subdue them. This world in the palm will let them know my magical powers. Later, I will personally go down and fight them with sabers and rods. I will make them admire my martial arts. Finally, I will make them admire my spirit." In the world in the palm, the Bull Demon King and his brothers had just dug the Rock Demon King out of the ground when the Monkey King struck him 10 miles deep into the ground. Breaking through the earth-fetal membrane evolved from the black-yellow and immersing him in the lava. The Rock Demon King's face was hit by the earth-lung poisonous fire, and his hair was burnt to a crisp. His face was covered in soot, and his soul seemed to have left his body. His body was covered in mottled mud and melted basalt. "This isn't the non-John section state. This isn't the non-John section state." Rock Demon King stammered. Sure Tuo King shouted, third brother, are you crazy? Of course, this isn't the non-John section state. This is the palm of that monkey. You've been flying out for a long time, but have you seen that monkey's fingers? Have you flown out of this confinement? The bull demon king looked at the deep pit in the ground and muttered. The black-yellow chi came from the north. The black-yellow chi turned into the sky, and the yellow chi turned into the earth. We saw it with our own eyes. This land is 5 miles thick, far lower than the land of the 3 realms. I think we are no longer in the 3 realms, but I don't believe that monkey can create a world in the palm. Most likely, we were tricked into the treasure. That monkey's master has an extraordinary background. He has 2 or 3 powerful treasures in his hands. It's only natural that he can contain a small world. The rock demon king calmed down after hearing the bull demon king's words. That's possible. I heard that Guanin's suet jade bottle has the ability to store things. Don Yu has the 5 true mountain diagram, an earth god's treasure that contains a world within it. I flew for about 40 million miles and saw a mountain so tall that I couldn't see it. I thought it was one of the 4 pillars. But what is the ultimate world? The Macaque King said, "Brothers, it's not important what the monkey used to capture us. The important thing is, how are we going to get out of here? You can get out if you beat me." The 6 demon kings looked back in shock and saw a 3-foot-tall macaque sitting on a rock beside them with a smile. It was the Monkey King's true form. "Who are you?" The Lion Camel King was puzzled. Before he could see clearly, the Scaled Dragon King said with a smile, "So this is what the Monkey King looks like. The one outside must be you in disguise." The Bull Demon King laughed. "I thought your true form was as big as a mountain, majestic and imposing. Who would have thought that you're just a 3-inch nail? This really disappoints me. With this appearance, how can you be the supreme, fiendish demon sovereign? You should just obediently give your position to me. Old cow, I hope my brothers won't fight with me." Wukong smiled faintly and said, "You'll need to have the ability to do so." He swept a glance, his gaze sweeping across, making one shudder. Wukong glanced around and said with a smile, "Bull Demon King, why do you need to ask your brother to give way? All of you are in my palms. I can kill all 6 of you with a flip of my hand. This is a good opportunity to die. Since you guys are sworn brothers, why do you need to fight? Come at me together. Let me, old son, beat all of you to death so that all of you can die together in the same year, month, and day to fulfill our brotherhood." Wukong let out a loud shout, and the aura of his 3-foot-tall monkey body suddenly skyrocketed, becoming as tall as 10,000 zhang. He stretched out his hand and ruthlessly pressed towards the Ox Demon King. The other 5 monster kings only froze for a moment before they swarmed forward and besieged Wukong. In the end, they were a moment behind. When Wukong stretched out his hand, his 5 fingers were like mountains. They pressed down fiercely and hit the top of the Ox Demon King's horn, causing it to flip over. Even the Ox Demon King's horn was shattered with one slap. The other demon kings were about to attack when they saw a blur in front of them. It was as if the monkey in front of them was ever-changing and omnipresent. With another tremble, a pair of small fists landed on their chests. A huge shockwave penetrated through their bodies. It was different from all other demonic powers. The demonic aura in their bodies was like yuan qi. It was in the form of a gaseous substance. However, this force was a force that had been tempered hundreds and thousands of times. It didn't contain any attribute of yuan qi. It was the purest and most condensed form of force. It was gravitational wave. It was a force field that surpassed the manifestation of yuan qi and came from outside the universe. It easily shattered the demonic aura in the bodies of the 5 demon kings. With just a slight change, their bodies were almost torn apart. They flew out like rag dolls and landed on the ground. The Monkey King's attack was successful. He raised his hand and summoned the golden cudgel. He became one with the cudgel and sent the Bull Demon King flying. Monkey King, you are too much. Chapter 874. In the next moment, a golden rod came smashing down. It was the Monkey King's golden cudgel. It moved like a dragon and shook off the 5 weapons that the Monster Kings used. The golden, gilded phoenix wings boring rod shook violently. The ocean-wrecking duo was pushed away. King Yu's mountain shifting lance flew out of his hands, and the golden hook and sickle crutch flew back. The 5 Monster Kings couldn't fight back at all. Wukong, on the other hand, split into 5 and knocked them down with a few sticks. Originally, the hare doppelgangers were weaker than the 5 Monster Kings in terms of pure strength. However, the quantum spiritual aura amorphous cloud was too powerful. It allowed the Monkey King's martial arts, wisdom, and battle experience to be absorbed by the hare doppelgangers. The speed of the primordial spirit could also be stacked. Therefore, the battle awareness of these 5 Demon Kings was too poor in comparison. Even their reaction speed was slower than Wukong had expected. Originally, Wukong thought that these Demon Kings had the same battle awareness as the Bull Demon King, but he did not expect that the Bull Demon King was the strongest among these Demon Kings. He was much stronger than the others. With this performance, these 5 Demon Kings could not fight back in the hands of Wukong's doppelganger. If I didn't want to have a few real monsters under me, I might not even be interested in you pieces of trash, the Monkey King said in disdain. The Bull Demon King saw that his brothers were taken down without being able to fight back. He was also beaten up by the Monkey King. In his anger, his eyes turned red. He shook his head and tail and turned back to his original form. He used the heavenly laws embodiment of Earth. A white bull appeared. Its head was like a mountain, its eyes were bright, its horns were like 2 iron towers, and its teeth were like sharp blades. From head to tail, it was thousands of feet long. From its hooves to its back, it was 800 feet tall. In the heaven and earth in the palm of the Monkey King, it raised its hooves to block the horns, wanting to fight to the death. The Monkey King restrained the 5 Monster Kings and shouted at the Bull Demon King. Bull Demon King, you are in my palm. How dare you make a scene? Bull Demon King bellowed. Monkey King, don't you dare try to trick me with your treasures. You tricked us brothers into a magical treasure and humiliated us in every possible way. I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept this. Just now I saw you turn into 5, and I don't know what kind of divine ability you used to capture my 5 brothers. If you have the ability, let's fight one-on-one. Bull Demon King. The Monkey King laughed. Don't boast anymore. Even if the 6 of you come at me together, you can't even beat my hair clone. I, old son, can just pluck out a hair and hang you up and beat you up. I'm not afraid to tell you that what's hitting you now is just a hair from my claw. My real body is still outside, clenching my fist. You are all in my hands. You're fighting like ants fighting each other. You're overestimating yourself and challenging me. What fair fight? What a joke! Nonsense, the Bull Demon King said angrily. You must have used the power of your magical weapon to ambush us. I, old son, can squash you to death with just a finger. Why would I need the power of a magical weapon to do that? The Monkey King's hair clone laughed and turned back into his hair. Then he turned into a demon binding chain and tied the 5 Monster Kings up. The world suddenly split apart. The sky cracked, and the world turned into black and yellow. The Bull Demon King only saw the sky split into 4 pieces, and each piece was like a world of its own. The entire world was destroyed in front of his eyes. The 4 pieces of sky rose up high, and the yellow and yellow disappeared, revealing their true appearance. The giant trees on them were like mountains, and from a macro perspective they looked like 4 fingers. And it was a hairy finger. The Monkey King smiled and looked at the white bull in his palm, which was so small that it was hard to notice. Then his other index finger slowly descended. The Bull Demon King saw an unimaginably huge mountain descending from the sky. Compared to his original body that was 10,000 feet long and 8,000 feet tall, Even the tiny lines on his finger were like ancient mountains. With this finger pressing down, the bull demon king could not believe it. He tried his best to resist the sky, but it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. He only made his finger stop for an almost imperceptible moment, and this little resistance was obliterated with a bang. The bull demon king's vision turned pitch black. When he regained consciousness, he heard a majestic voice. The great sage Monkey King from the lower realm has protected the Taishang Laojun from the west. His meritorious deeds are great, and he subdued the demons. He felt that there was no one to enlighten them, and they gathered together to become demons. They created chaos in the three realms, and they committed evil. I pity them for their ignorance and enlighten them. Hence he came to me and asked me to enlighten them. I believe that he is wise and righteous, and hence I granted him this mission. Proclaim, the great sage, heaven's equal, Sun Wukong, is now the great demon emperor, heaven's equal. He will command all living beings in the world and enlighten the demons of the three realms. He will be appointed as the great sage, heaven's equal. He will temporarily be appointed as the great sage, heaven's equal. Yes, great heavenly lord. Monkey King, the bull demon king, roared. You submitted to the Jade Emperor and bowed to the heavenly court. You are not fit to be the demon king. You are not fit to be a demon. The demon emperor is the emperor who leads the demons, not the lackeys of the heavenly court. I once respected you as a hero, but now I've been blind. I didn't see that you're a seductive person. You're the demon emperor of the Jade Emperor, the demon emperor of the heavenly court, not our supreme demon lord. Even if I have to die, I will never acknowledge you as the demon king. The Monkey King was wearing an emperor's robe and crown. He stood above the heavenly court, and all the deities and demons around him congratulated him. Greetings, heaven, equal demon king. The congratulatory voices were like tsunamis, resounding across the world. Above the heavenly court, all the officials and heavenly generals who were defeated by the Monkey King, the martial virtue Star Lord, the 4 heavenly masters, the 36 thunder generals, the god of thunder and the goddess of lightning, and the great emperor of the Dongyu, who had just broken free from the Vajra bracelet, couldn't help but congratulate him. Greetings, heaven equal demon king. As for the heaven equal demon army, the Macaque King and the Yuliao King, just as the Monkey King had expected, they only struggled for a while before surrendering to the Monkey King. The Lion Camel King considered it for a little longer, but under the persuasion of the 2 Monkey Kings, he also submitted to the Monkey King. Now, the only ones who were still resisting were the Rock Demon King and the Bull Demon King. The Dragon Demon King was purely the Monkey King, and the Monkey King didn't trust him. But it wasn't that he couldn't recruit him. Now, the 10 million demon army, under the leadership of the 3 Demon Kings, were also paying their respects to the Demon King. In order to create a ruckus, the Monkey King didn't keep his hair clones. It seemed like having dozens of powerful Demon Kings under his command was quite impressive. The Monkey King led the demon army out of the cloudy palace of the Golden Arches. Tai Bai Jinxing said, "The great emperor's residence is ready. The goddess and strong man are cleaning and tidying it up. Does the great emperor want to take a look?" Chapter 875. The Monkey King exited the southern heavenly gate and headed straight for Mount Zhongnan. He brought tens of millions of troops with him. The demonic aura that soared into the sky shook the surroundings. The cultivators in the mortal world thought that a calamity was coming and tens of millions of demon soldiers were coming for them. There were 2 large sects that had connections in the heavenly court. They knew that a demon king called the Monkey King had gathered tens of millions of demon soldiers and defeated the great emperor of Dongyu. The Jade Emperor pardoned him as the Demon King. They were still trembling in fear that the Demon King would start a riot and kill everyone within a radius of tens of millions of miles. Therefore, after the Monkey King landed with the demon army, the chirping of insects and birds stopped. The Monkey King took a few glances and took in all the cultivators hiding in their cave abodes within a radius of 1,000 miles. The strongest cultivators were only itinerant immortals. They were not even comparable to the stronger demon kings. They were nothing in the eyes of the Monkey King. The truly capable cultivators were either celestials in heaven or true immortals, like Lu Chunyang and old immortal Nenhua, who were pardoned by the heavenly court. This demon army is huge and messy. Most of them have not changed their original forms and still have a trace of the stench of beasts. The crowing of chickens and the barking of dogs are extremely chaotic. How would I dare to bring them to disturb the two saints, Master and Old Lord? My Mount Huaguat is not big enough to accommodate so many demons. Moreover, most of these demons are very stupid and can't abstain from eating. If they make Mount Huagua full of sh*t and urine, wouldn't it ruin the blessed land? Master wants me to trick so many demons back. He must have a plan for me. I'll take in these demons first before asking Master. Wukong made up his mind and shouted at his subordinates, the monster kings and little monsters. I haven't established a foundation yet, and you guys haven't shed your wild nature yet, so you don't have any rules. I borrowed a magic treasure from my master. The space inside is vast, and it's not inferior to any of the 4 major continents. You guys can go inside for the time being and follow a few monster kings to train the monster army. Set up rules and learn etiquette. I'll lead all of you to attack the various demon kingdoms and occupy a place in the 3 dimensions. After that, he passed down all kinds of military tactics and rules. Other than the Monkey King and the Lion Camel King, the few demon kings who were leading the army were all his hair clones. They could sense the primordial spirit of the Monkey King, and they would naturally follow the methods that the Monkey King taught them to train and clean up the demon army. With that, the Monkey King released the Golden Ship of Fate and took in the 10 million demon army. The Golden Ship of Fate had not been completed, but the Monkey King could see that the space inside was already starting to take shape. It was rich in resources and the size of the Dongsheng divine continent. A mere 10 million demons would not take up much space inside. The remaining space was barren. After the heavens' equal demon army was completely swallowed by the Golden Ship of Fate, the Monkey King then kept his treasures. A cloud formed under his feet, and the ethereal cloud of quantum spiritual light appeared outside the temple at the foot of Mount Zhongnan. It had been half a year since he, the mountain god of the 100,000 mountains, swallowed 80,000 mountains in one go. When the Monkey King saw him and the green bull stealing the treasures, it was the time of summer when plants were flourishing and all living things were growing. Now, the north wind was blowing and the white grass was covered in frost. It had been 3 days since the first snowfall, but the Monkey King had wasted half a day in the heaven realm. Half a year had passed in the mortal world. The Monkey King pushed open the door of the temple and saw Ishi sweeping the floor. When he saw the Monkey King, he smiled and asked, "Junior brother Monkey King, why were you gone for so long?" The Monkey King said, "I was held up in the heaven realm and was half a day late. I didn't expect that half a year had passed in the mortal world, and I missed Master's chess match. I wonder who won. If my master was careless and lost 1 or 2 eyes, I'll be smart and not make Master angry. The chess match lasted for 3 months. Your master lost by a bit, and when he retired, he lost half an eye." Ishi smiled and said, 3 days ago, my grandmaster had just finished reciting the Tao Te Ching mantra. There were over 5,000 words in total, and I recorded it down. After that, enlightened Master Chin suggested that my grandmaster give me a Taoist title. Junior brother Monkey King, you can call me Winsher from now on. Then I pay my respects to senior brother Winsher. The Monkey King bowed. The Monkey King exchanged a few words with Ishi and was in a hurry to report back to Chinong. Then he took his leave and went straight to the thatched cottage where Chinong was staying. On the way, he passed by the cowshed and saw the green bull grazing on grass. The Monkey King hurriedly removed the Vajra bracelet from his hand and smiled. "Brother Cow, you're so disloyal. You left me behind and made things difficult for me. I'm afraid I'll be scolded by Master for taking so long to come back. The Green Bull said you really have guts. After I came back, I heard that you acted violently on several occasions. Even though I'm a lawless and daring person, I was still scared out of my wits. Hurry up and return the Vajra bracelet to me. Master has instructed me not to hang out with a mischievous monkey like you. If I get into trouble, even he won't be able to protect me. Why do you say that, big brother? Goku giggled and threw the Vajra bracelet onto the black ox's head. The bracelet was hanging on its horn. He giggled and said, I'm an honest monkey. I've never encouraged you to do anything disgraceful. The thatched cottage where Chinong was staying was just around the cowshed. However, the Monkey King was a little hesitant when he arrived at the door. He hesitated and didn't dare to knock on the door. When he first became Chin Ang's disciple, he had never thought about how powerful his master was. At that time, Chinong had pretended to be an itinerant immortal. The Monkey King only accepted him because he had pointed out the path to immortality. After that, Chinong brought him to meet the Elder Supreme Lord and the three sages. Only then did he realize that his master's wisdom was as deep as the ocean. However, the Monkey King felt that he was no more than a person like a heaven immortal. Later on, he found out that the heaven immortal had only looked down on his master. After hearing that Chinong was the master of the heavenly sect, he had learned a lot of abilities. However, Chinong had strictly ordered him to learn those boring things. Learning mathematics and physics was so boring. There was no reason for magical powers to be powerful. The Monkey King was also a little puzzled and resentful. It was not until he mastered the quantum primordial spirit and cultivated the quantum aura unstable cloud. He fought several times in the three realms and defeated countless immortals and demons. He fought against several powerful enemies and used all the abilities taught by his master. He was invincible. Only then did he realize that Chen Ang's abilities were thousands of times more powerful than he had imagined. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't figure out his master's background. The Monkey King stood at the door of Chen Ang's house and thought for a moment. Then he pushed the door open and entered. He saw a young Taoist wearing a feathered robe and a star crown. He was deducing the hexagram. The Monkey King had learned from the Book of Changes and quoted from the ancient Book of Changes. The land of Jiao is born, and the land of Yin will wither for 1,000 years. 100 years old, 49 stalks, enough to bear the weight of heaven and earth. At 500 years old, the shape gradually dried up at 700 years old. There were no branches and leaves at 900 years old. The color was purple like iron. At 1,000 years old, there was purple air above, spiritual dragons and divine turtles crouching below. As for the stalk in Chenang's hand, it looked like purple iron and floated with a purple aura. It meandered like a spirit dragon and was as sluggish as a divine turtle. It was a 1,000-year stalk. Chun-Ong had 300 stalks in his hand, all produced by a stalk. Chapter 876. Monkey King hurriedly kowtowed and said, Master, are you chasing me out? Why do you say that? Chun-Ong smiled and said, You are already the Supreme Demon Emperor. Who else in this world can make you worship? Get up quickly. It's not that I want to chase you out, but you have already grown and don't need my guidance anymore. The path of the Demon Emperor can only be walked by yourself, and I can't help you. You learned from a master to seek the fruit of immortality. Now that you are the Supreme Demon Emperor of the Heavenly Court, no one in the three realms can surpass you except for Grand Empyrean Jade Emperor. This is the highest fruit of immortality, so why are you still not satisfied? Master, Monkey King cried, I don't care about the position of the Supreme Demon Emperor. Ever since I became your disciple, I gradually understood the principles of the evolution of man and nature. I know that this world is a huge cage. Outside of this world, there is another unimaginable world. If I can't transcend, even if I can live forever, I will just be a ghost guarding corpse. What Master has taught me is to seek the truth of the Tao, to constantly seek knowledge, to constantly search. And there will be a day when Disciple will also jump out of this narrow 3 realms and enter another world. Now, Disciple hasn't even learned a single bit of Master's ability. So why is Master chasing Disciple out? Sigh. Chen-Ong let out a long sigh and said, Monkey King, do you know why the Jade Emperor allowed you to be the Demon Emperor? I thought it was because Master wanted to trap him. Monkey King said. Chen-Ong said with a smile, If he's not willing in his heart, how can I make him fall into the trap? That's because with your dermic powers, you've already attained the position of the Demon Emperor. Even if he doesn't accept you, you can go back and raise the flag of rebellion, gather the demons, and fight against the celestial court. You can also gradually conquer the hearts of the demons and make them submit to you, making them respect you as the Demon Emperor. By then, you will be the rightful Demon Emperor. You will be supported by thousands of demons. What does it matter if the Jade Emperor doesn't acknowledge you? You'll be able to stand on equal footing with him, and you'll have some hope in the future. If you succeed in your rebellion, the heavens and earth will take their turn. Next year, it'll be your family's turn. Now that he has conferred you the title of Demon Emperor, not only will you be inferior to him, but he can also take you into the system of the heavenly courts and let you inherit the heavenly court's famous artifact and give it to others. What's more, the fiendish demons in this world are not willing to accept the teachings of the heavenly courts. Now that you've been pardoned by the heavenly courts, you've lost the support of many demon kings. If you're not a fiendish demon, how can you be the king of the fiendish demons? Matching the ability user to his position is the only way to rule. The Jade Emperor was also proficient in it. I see. In that case, Master, is there a deeper meaning to asking me to seek help from the officials? Monkey King asked. Chen-Ong didn't answer. He just asked, You can get the support of all the demons in the world and become the Demon Emperor. But I asked you to join the celestial heavens, making it hard for all the demons in the world to be convinced by you, making it difficult for you to convince all the demons in the world. Do you have any resentment? Wukong asked. Master, that great heavenly venerate Jade Emperor clearly has a better choice. So why did he let me become the Demon Emperor? You once said that the heavenly courts cannot be offended, and the Jade Emperor is even more so. That's because the celestial heavens has countless powerful mystical beings. Mere fiendish demons that have not entered the eyes of the celestial heavens are legal immortals. They're just arrogant for a moment, and the celestial heavens don't have the time to deal with them. And that Jinwu Demon Rinsing, Great Emperor. I heard that he was conferred the title of Demon Rinsing, Heavenly Venerable, because he wiped out all the demons in the Dongsheng Divine Continent. Although I dealt with the Dongyu Great Emperor, I might not be able to make the Jade Emperor bow his head, right? There's so many powerful beings in the celestial heavens. Wouldn't it be easier for him to order those powerful mystical beings to deal with me? Do you think he didn't think of that? Chen-Ong smiled. When you were making a ruckus at the southern heavenly gate, Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and Mahastamaprapta came from the western spiritual mountain. They encountered the turbulence of the galactic true water on Mount Jongnan and were swept into a space-time storm by the galactic river's galactic array. They lost their way. According to my calculations, they're already 50 years in the future. They've missed this period of time. That Jinwu Demon Rinsing Great Emperor encountered the Canopy Marshal, who was washed away by the galactic true water. He had no choice but to trouble the Canopy Marshal to save him from the river of time and space, which wasted a lot of time. Erlang, perfected Lord Xianshang of the Guanjiang estuary, came to visit Lu Guan to thank Lao Jun and me for our guidance in the past. He also watched us play chess from the side. He was engrossed for 2 months and just left the day before yesterday. He even wrote down the Book of Tao with Ishi. There was also Guanyin Bodhisattva of the South Sea. It was said that she accidentally dropped the pristine jade bottle in the sea. The Dragon Lady of Wealth had to search for it for a long time before she finally found it. If not for Master, why would the Jade Emperor allow me to become the Demon Emperor? Monkey King bowed. Everything that I have today is because of Master. How would I dare to resent him? How would I resent him? Do you know what you've lost? Ong sighed. Your title is the Heaven's Equal Demon Emperor, the Heaven's Equal. You lead all the demons in the world. How can there be demons and demons in this world? There are only apes, monkeys, lions, tigers, dragons, rocks, oxen, goats, deer, and so on. These races have different personalities. They even feed on each other and kill each other. Would a wolf demon think that a rabbit demon is of the same race? There were no demons in this world. There were only demons when there were humans. If there were no humans, there would only be the wolf race, the tiger race, the rabbit race, and the ox race. There would not be the demon race. All the races in this world were forced to a dead end by humans. The human race was powerful, so other than humans, all the other races were demons. It was humans who thought that all the other intelligent races in the world were demons. That was why the demons gradually recognized themselves and created the demon race. There were no demons in this world. The heavenly court ostracized them. Those who disobeyed were demons. The heavenly court's divine Tao has many rules. The net of law is like the sky. All the lives and deaths, good and evil, rewards and punishments, even the weather, virtues, and blessings are all limited. This is fate. Under such a strict net of law, one can either be manipulated by fate or accumulate good karma and cultivate to become an immortal. Otherwise, one can rebel and become a demon and live freely in the mountains. These demons do not obey the rules of the heavenly court, and a demon emperor appointed by the heavenly court has to lead all the demons in the world. How can the great emperor of the heavenly court lead the demons? There are all kinds of demons in your demon army. Tigers, leopards, wolves, and bears. The reason why they can coexist with you is because they think of themselves as demons. And demon is relative to humans. How can you, the demon emperor, crush all the demons under you into a ball? How can you make them recognize the demon race? Only by strengthening the difference between humans and demons can they become demons. Otherwise, they will forever be tigers, leopards, wolves, and bears. They will never be demons. Master, are you saying that to become a demon emperor, one can only fight with humans? Only when humans and demons kill each other can they make use of the human race to mix all the other races and create the demon race. Monkey King was shocked. Yes, if you mix with the demons and raise the flag of rebellion against the heavenly court, you can establish demons and humans. You can fight a few battles with the heavenly court and make use of the immortals and humans to strengthen the demon race's knowledge. Then you can unite the demons and convince a few demon kings. Then you can become the demon emperor. Also, your foundation is stable and the law is clear. If the heavenly court loses its virtue in the future, you can successfully rebel against the heavenly court and become the emperor of heaven. Chapter 877. Master, is there no way for all living beings to coexist peacefully? Monkey King asked anxiously. Ong smiled and asked, can you make tigers not eat rabbits, wolves not offend sheep, humans not slaughter beasts, and all living beings not kill each other? Even if all the demons in the world learn from those monks and become vegetarians, wouldn't plants and trees be resentful? All living beings in the world kill each other. The strong prey on the weak. Survival of the fittest. This is the heavenly Tao. How can we escape? Monkey King kowtowed. Master, I have no regrets. Wukong isn't a demon. He's just a tiny stone monkey in the Eastern Sea. He mingled with a group of monkeys and was nurtured by the heavens and the earth. Fortunately, he was bestowed by the heavens and gained intelligence. He entered the tutelage of a teacher and learned the Tao. Only then did he gradually gain intelligence and understand the great Tao. This path of leading demons, killing each other, slaughtering the human race, and gathering all living beings to become demons. Wukong is absolutely unwilling to take it. Today, as the Demon King, I only wish for all living beings in the world to be enlightened and gain wisdom. Teach the demon race to transcend the nature of beasts, to transcend the human race. I hope that teacher can guide all the demons and demons in the world to a path of transcendence. There is another path. Chun Ong said calmly, that is to say, among the myriad of creatures in the world, those who are enlightened with spiritual wisdom will be able to transcend their own race, wash away their herd nature, and become one. In other words, the tigers, leopards, wolves, bears, apes, monkeys, oxen, and horses formed their own clan. They no longer saw their own clansmen as their own kind. The tiger demon ate the tiger, and the ox demon ate the ox. From then on, they formed their own clan. They only saw their original bodies as the reincarnation of their previous lives. From now on, demons and beasts will be worlds apart. It is best to wash away their original body and change their scales. This is the Tao of unification. Monkey King was shocked. How can they do this? After gaining wisdom and learning skills, they will no longer see their own kind and see themselves as higher beings. How are they different from beasts? Even those ferocious demon kings and demon kings would look up to their own kind. After attaining the Tao, they will see their own kind as ants. How can there be such a logic in the world? I don't think that you will take this path. It is not that there is no such logic in the world. It is a necessary process for a civilization to succeed. But this path has already been taken by someone. The Heaven Court is the same. However, the Heaven Court is more magnanimous than I said. Among the celestials, how many are humans and how many are demons? There are also all kinds of living beings with strange origins. Do you think they are humans or demons? No. They will only think they are gods or mortals. This was the transcendent race, the foundation of civilization's recognition. You've lost the initiative. If you imitate a cat and draw a tiger, your future won't be good. Chun Ong said calmly, the Jade Emperor ruled over the 3 realms. There were thousands of species in the world, each belonging to their own. There were humans and demons, and they loved and killed each other. It was 10,000 times more complicated than the demon race that you want to unify. The conflict between humans and demons, the conflict between humans and celestials, was 100 times more complicated than you. If you can't even adjust the ideology of a demon, you can forget about overthrowing the Heaven Court and establishing the Tao of gods. I am also impressed by the Jade Emperor's actions. In ancient times, humans and gods lived together. The great mediums of each race, gods and immortals, all recognized their own race. Thus, the races fought and karma involved the ancient gods, causing wars. The war between Zhurong and Gonggong, the war between the Yellow Emperor and Chiyu were all like this. The ancient gods fought and killed each other for their own race. The laws of heaven and earth were in chaos. Later on, the Jade Emperor was born and built the 33 heavens. He summoned the great mediums of each race to be officials in the Heaven Court. They separated themselves from the race and established order. They were restrained by the laws of heaven and could not participate in the war in the lower realm. Then he attacked the disobedient gods of the 3 realms and suppressed the remaining ancient gods. Gomong, Xianming, Candle Dragon, Queen Mother of the West, and Juju were all killed. Later, the Jade Emperor cleaned up the Heaven Court and slowly pushed out the remaining ancient gods who surrendered to the Heaven Court. Gods like Count of Wind, Master of Rain, and Arbiter of Fate did not appear in the Heaven Court. When those who achieved Tao were promoted by the Jade Emperor, they separated themselves from the race and did not have much affection for the race. They only recognized themselves as immortals and mortals in the lower realm. They obeyed the laws of heaven and forgot about their kinship. How could they still treat themselves as mortals of the same race? How vicious is it to fabricate a celestial god civilization? Such a cruel tribulation lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. It was unbelievably long. With great patience, the Jade Emperor eliminated the huge power of the ancient immortals, bit by bit. There were political struggles, and even direct confrontations. Many soul-stirring stories happened. The ancient god Xingtian fought with the Jade Emperor and was beheaded. When Yu the Great was controlling the flood, a demon god, Wu Zhiqi, appeared. The Jade Emperor killed Gun, the father of Emperor Yu. The secrets and entanglements lasted for many thousands of years. This tribulation had a name. It was called the Forbidden Heavenly Passage. It was named after the most symbolic event in this tribulation. Emperor is Zhongli, the Forbidden Heavenly Passage, and the Forbidden Heavenly Passage. The immortals in this world were born from all kinds of beings. They achieved great power and became one with the gods. Gradually, the sky was high and the earth was high. When the Jade Emperor became enlightened, he would be able to reach the Forbidden Heavenly Passage. From then on, the immortals would no longer be humans or demons. They would be immortals who would rule the world forever. Therefore, the first taboo in the law of heaven is the illicit relationship between immortals and mortals. In the past, Goddess Yaoji had an illicit relationship with mortals and gave birth to the three Sanuses and God Erling. She was imprisoned on the Peach Mountain to respect the law of heaven. The Jade Emperor even punished his own sister. It was dangerous. Qin told him about the ancient events. The bloodlust and murderous aura in his words shocked the Monkey King. "I refuse." Wukong raised his head and said, "Master, I'm definitely not willing to learn from the great Heavenly Venerate and create a demon race. I'm fighting for the position of the Demon Emperor to open up a way out for all the living beings in the world who are not accepted by the heavenly courts, so that they don't have to bear the name of demons and be killed by the heavenly courts. They don't have to live in a daze and die in the morning. I want freedom for all the beings in the world. What I fight for is civilization. I don't want them to fight against the human race or to create a noble among demons who don't see their own kind as demons." Qunong sighed and said, "Nationalism is the easiest way to be invaded by other races. If there is no him, there is no me. If there is no exclusion, it will be difficult to be with me. The division of the upper class, the departure of humans and gods, and the forbidden heavenly passage all originate from the difference in levels. In the end, the levels are solidified. Firstly, you don't want to emphasize the levels. Secondly, you don't want to exclude the outsiders and start a war with the human race. You want to combine the complicated species of demons that kill each other and feed on each other into one and give birth to a civilization." Chapter 878. If I don't make things difficult, how can I achieve great things? Monkey King bowed and said, "Now I understand Master's painstaking efforts. If I were to mix with the demons and raise the flag of rebellion, using the name of rebelling against the heavens, I would gradually unify the demon race and kill the human race. This is because the demons and demons in this world did not gather together by themselves. It was the heavenly heavens that forced them together. The human race is the foundation of the heavenly heavens in the lower realm. When the demons and demons gather and become emperors, how can they not attack the human race and create a sea of blood? Only when both sides have a life and death feud can they use the pressure of the heavenly heavens to force the demon race to put down their conflicts and mix together. Therefore, such a demon emperor must be a demon emperor who kills people like flies. If I am not willing to kill people, I can't continue being the demon emperor, because the foundation of the demon emperor is the demons and demons. If I am not a demon, how can I be the demon emperor? That bull demon king is right. If I am not a demon, I can't be the demon emperor. Therefore, I am under the command of the heavens. I am not the demon emperor, but the demon emperor under the command of the heavenly heavens. The demons and demons in the world should be called to polish their demonic nature and bring them into the system. Master has enlightened me this time. I and the heavenly heavens are not the same people after all. As long as I am not willing to let the powerful beings among the demons and demons in the world become immortals and gods, break away from the human race and form their own civilization, there will be a day when I fall out with the Jade Emperor. The heavenly heavens wants all the races in the world to coexist peacefully. It is not to unify them, but to promote the elites among them to become gods and immortals. It is to imprison civilization and use gods to unify the heavens and suppress the human race. It is to suppress all the races in the world so that the world will be stable forever. Disciple is not on the same path as them. In this universe, how can there be immortals who do not change? Chinong smiled and nodded. I schemed against the Jade Emperor and wanted to raise the flag of rebellion to destroy the heavenly heavens that has ruled the three realms. It is because using gods to unify the heavens suppress the development of the human race and imprison civilization. It is extremely rotten. You know that I am the sect master of the Beyond Heaven sect. But do you know which sect I am in? For which sect master? The Monkey King thought for a while and suddenly said, I've heard Master mention it once. It seems to be the human Tao sect leader, the immeasurable heavenly lord. Chunong smiled and said, that's right. The Grand Pure One respects the great Tao. What he seeks is Tao and virtue. That's why he's called the heavenly lord of Tao and virtue. As for Master, it was humanity. What was humanity? Self-improvement is humanity, and civilization development is humanity. Laozi seeks the Tao, using the Tao to seek the Tao, forcefully calling it by its name. As for me, I seek the Tao, and I seek the Tao through civilization and explore the truth. As the leader of the human Tao, how can I sit back and watch the divine Tao surpass the human Tao and suppress the development of civilization? This is the first 1,000 years of my descent into this world to destroy the celestial court. I see. The Monkey King said, Master, did you enlighten me so that I can create a demon spirit civilization and walk a path out of the oppression of the heavenly courts? Master, you taught me to cut off those two paths, but you didn't teach me how to build the demon spirit civilization. I'm not a demon. How would I know how to build the demon spirit civilization? Chen Ong smiled and said, I know how to build the human Tao civilization and use humans to destroy the heavens. However, that will cut off the chance for the civilization of all kinds of demons. I want to see how different civilizations develop. Someone has long taken the blame for the development of the human Tao civilization in this world. I'm not afraid to tell you that the ultimate human Tao civilization will descend 1,000 years later. It will wipe out all demons and use humans to destroy the heavens. At that time, if the demon spirit civilization is not formed, all demons and races will transform into humans. If they don't, they will die. There will be no more demons and only humans. That will be the second 1,000 years since I descended into this world. Monkey King, you can only walk this path by yourself. I can't help you either. Chin Ong rubbed the Monkey King's forehead and sighed. Master, the Monkey King sobbed and called out. Chin Ong only said, the path is long and I will search high and low. You can go now. There will be angels from the heavenly court descending outside. They are here on the orders of the Jade Emperor to clean up the mess for you. Go settle it yourself. We will be on our way soon. Upon hearing this, the Monkey King became happy and said, So Master is not chasing me out. This journey to the west has not been completed. It has just started. How can I chase you out? Let go of the Bull Demon King, Rock Demon King, and the rest. This journey to the west to become a Buddha is a merit of the heavenly court. It is a great merit of the Jade Emperor's words. You can use this to slowly subdue the demon kings and demon kings along the way and build a foundation. No one will dare to stop you. Firstly, it is justifiable. Secondly, you can also add some credit to yourself. You still need the Bull Demon King and the rest to call their friends to make things difficult for you. They have a wide network of friends and can trick many demons to come to you. You have it easy. This time, not only will I not be stopped by the heavenly court, but I can also borrow a lot of strength. If I become a Buddha, I'm afraid there won't be such a good thing anymore. When that time comes, there will be many constraints, and it will be very troublesome. Chinong smiled and said, I think that old bull is a heroic person. If I catch it and let it go a few times, it will be embarrassed. I'm afraid I can recruit it. The Monkey King whispered, and that Rock Demon King, I can also use this to wear down some of his arrogance and make him submit. But, Master, I'm afraid that they will know what is good and bad. They will understand how powerful I am and won't fall for it. They will just close their cave abodes and not find trouble with us. If that is the case, this scheme will be a complete loss, and I will fail. Chen Ong only smiled and whispered, Let the Flood Dragon King out. The Monkey King didn't know what was going on and released the Flood Dragon King. He was a big man, but he had a pair of triangular eyes and looked quite sinister, which made him look less awe-inspiring. Chen Ong didn't wait for him to speak. In his eyes, a demon king like this was no different from an ignorant beast, so he didn't even look at it. He just pointed, and a dim light went straight into the Flood Dragon King's eyes. The light fixed on the Flood Dragon King's Naiwan Palace and turned into a golden lotus. It landed under his primordial spirit and released a faint golden light that enveloped his primordial spirit. In just a moment, his primordial spirit was bewitched. Only then did Chen Ong say, That person's heart is hard to predict, and it's hard to guarantee that the Bull Demon King is a magnanimous person. Disciple, you will fail, so I need a spy to sow discord like Shingongbao. Just say, Fellow Taoist, please wait. This Flood Dragon King is under my spell, and his primordial spirit is bewitched by me. He will definitely provoke the Bull Demon King and the Rock Demon King to make things difficult for you and fall into my trap. The Monkey King asked curiously, Master, who is that Shingongbao? It sounds like he's from the demon race. It sounds like he's quite intelligent. If he is proficient in his work, I can take him in and make him a useless military advisor or something like that. I let Master know that there's no atmosphere of learning among the demons. My subordinates are a bunch of illiterate and rough men. I'm extremely short of manpower. That's an otherworldly figure. He's a servant of the Grand Pure One's second brother. In order to fight for the family property, his two brothers sent such a person to his third brother's house as a spy. Later on, he sowed discord and damaged his third brother's family business. Chen Ong teased. The Monkey King teased. Then he definitely won't have a good ending. Oh. Chen Ong asked curiously, How do you know? Later on, he was filled with the sea eye and ended up in the worst state. Chapter 879. The angel that descended from the sky was naturally Tai Bai Jinxing, who had great prestige in front of the Jade Emperor. He was the number one errand boy of the heavenly court and was extremely lively. The Monkey King caused havoc in the divine court of Mount Tai, the heavenly river, and even suppressed the southern heavenly gate. In the end, he was conferred the title of the Emperor of the heavenly court. This time he came with the imperial decree of the Jade Emperor to settle the case of the Qin dynasty. He had the intention to buy something good for the Monkey King. Naturally, he did not dare to show off the majesty of the heavenly court in front of the building where Chen Ong and the Grand Supreme Lord lived. Moreover, there was also the Monkey King, the heaven's equal demon emperor of the heavenly court, serving tea and doing chores. He immediately put away the celestial aura carefully. The laws of the heavenly court were strict. The heavenly rules were not just words on a piece of paper. Instead, they were engraved in the heavenly Tao. The heaven and earth had corresponding laws. The heavenly flowers, heavenly ladies, celestial sounds, magical conch, and all the rituals did not need the celestials to make a noise. Therefore, Tai Bai Jinxing took the initiative to restrain himself and showed some friendliness. The Monkey King was now the emperor and had a high status in the three realms. If he was not extremely respectful in front of his master and took the initiative to put away the ritual, as long as he released his aura, the chi of heaven and earth would automatically transform into a set of ritual, which was 100 times more majestic than Tai Bai Jinxing. The emperor of the heavenly court had a high status. According to the ritual, when the heaven's equal demon emperor descended to the lower realm, there would be celestial light, auspicious clouds, heavenly flowers, wonderful sounds, flying in the sky, a ray of green light shooting up 30,000 miles, 5-colored heavenly flowers falling, golden lotuses appearing on the ground, and all kinds of auspicious signs, such as Ganoderma and herbs growing quietly in every corner of the building. If a human cultivator could get one, he would have the hope of becoming a celestial. In order to prove that their country was in unprecedented peace and prosperity, the emperors of the human world had to fabricate all kinds of auspicious signs, such as white deer, black cranes, and 5-colored Ganoderma. They were imitating the majesty of the emperor of the heavenly courts. As for saints like Chunong and Laojun, the place where they stayed was the heavenly Tao. There was not much grandeur, but there was a mysterious fate. For example, Laojun created the Tao Te Ching, Chunong founded the Yangzhu sect, and Confucius compiled the 4 books and cultivated the 5 classics. All of them were imparting the meaning of moral education. The divine Central Continent was a land of outstanding people, so it had its own fate, which was the legacy of the sages. Compared to the heavenly court, such a realm where morality was passed down to the world was much more profound. Tai Bai Jinxing followed Yi Xian and Sa Chenong and the Monkey King. They were performing divination and predicting the future. When Chenong saw Tai Bai Jinxing, he nodded slightly and smiled. Tai Bai Jinxing, you've come under the grand Heavenly Venerate's imperial decree. I can't welcome you. Please forgive me. Tai Bai Jinxing hurriedly said, Heavenly Venerate, you're too polite. The Grand Heavenly Venerate also knows that the Heavenly Venerate is a pure and moral person. It's already an offense for us vulgar immortals to disturb you. How would we dare to be rude? I wonder what kind of decree the Grand Heavenly Venerate has brought for you. My disciple is mischievous. If he has offended the Grand Heavenly Venerate, I will definitely punish him severely. Did he cause any trouble? Chenong asked with a smile. Hearing Chunang's question, Tai Bai Jinxing could not answer. He could only turn his head slightly to look at the Monkey King's expression. The Monkey King beside him raised his head slightly and revealed a murderous smile. Tai Bai Jinxing trembled and hurriedly said, No, no. The Heavenly Venerate must be joking. The great Emperor's equal is really a pillar of the heavenly courts. The demons outside the South Heaven Gate are congratulated by the immortals. The Grand Heavenly Venerate personally invited him to ascend to the throne of the heavenly court's demon emperor's equal. The immortals and gods respect him, and the demons and demons come to the court. What kind of boldness is that? I also admire him greatly. Ha 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 ha. Chenong smiled and said, My disciple only did a small job. How can he be rewarded so heavily by the Grand Heavenly Venerate? After laughing, he turned to the Monkey King and said, Monkey King, with such results and the Grand Heavenly Venerate's favor, you can't be arrogant. You have to work harder in the future. Tai Bai Jinxing complained in his heart. This demon king almost caused the heavenly courts to lose an imperial lord and 50,000 heavenly river navy. At the Mount Tai Divine Court, the gods were tormented badly. The heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals who went down to the mortal world to fight him had their dharma bodies damaged. There are also 80,000 spiritual mountains and 100,000 mountain gods. Is he trying to snatch the position under the Grand Heavenly Venerate? He hurriedly returned to the main topic and said, Previously, the King of Qin reported the great emperors equal to heaven, saying that he had smashed the Qin court and threatened the Queen Mother. Later, the Jade Emperor sent the Thunder Division to investigate. The Thunder God was deceived by the Qin court's alchemist, Tissot, and had a few conflicts with the great emperors equal to heaven. He lost many spiritual mountains and made the great emperor swallow 80,000 spiritual mountains. In a day, many famous mountains and rivers were lost in Middle Earth. The earth chi was unstable, and the dragon veins were damaged. This is the first matter. The second matter is the heavenly court's decision to deal with this matter. Needless to say, the King of Qin suffered a calamity. He didn't know the will of heaven and the will of the people. The mortal warlock Tissot went against the will of heaven and stopped the two sages from going west. His crime was unforgivable. Therefore, the decision was to send Tiso to the 18th layer of hell and be punished for 1,000 years. He will be reincarnated as an ignorant plant, unable to reincarnate for 9 lifetimes. As for the king of Qin, he will be punished by heaven. After 3 years of drought, he will be sent to the 9th layer of hell and be punished for 81 years. He will be reincarnated as an animal, unable to reincarnate for 3 lifetimes. In this decree, the heavenly court's power to suppress the human path and rule the 3 realms was fully displayed. The king of Qin was also a human king, one of the people who occupied the heavens. If the heavenly courts convicted him, he would be fine when he was alive, but after death he would be punished. Even a noble would have to suffer in hell. In the future, when Emperor Taizong of Tang went to hell, he was still threatened and manipulated. The power of the divine path over the human path was evident. The good and evil of the 3 realms were separated, and the fate of reincarnation was under the control of the heavenly courts. The people of the 3 realms couldn't transcend, and the human path fell into countless tribulations. It was no wonder that it attracted the attention of sect Master Chun of the other world, causing his other identity to fall into this world. After Lord Tai by Jinxing announced the heavenly court's opinion on this matter, he asked kindly, "How is it? Are the sages and great emperor equal heaven satisfied with this result?" Qin Ong didn't say anything, but the Monkey King's expression changed, and he asked, "The king of Qin was rude, but it was his fault. What does it have to do with the people of Qin? During the 3 years of drought, the king of Qin could drink and dance, but didn't the poor people die? Why did the heavenly courts punish the innocent people, but the culprit benefited?" Tai Bai Jinxing smiled and said, "Great Emperor, you don't know this, but the king of Qin's fate is protected by Qin. Their fate is the same. So how can the heavenly courts punish a human king? Only during reincarnation will the good and evil of the human world be settled. The king of Qin's mistake has offended the heavens. Naturally, there will be a reaction from the heavens and a calamity. Such a calamity is the fault of the human king sent by the heavens. In the mortal world, there are naturally loyal and filial sons who advise the king of Qin to declare his crimes. This is the reaction of the heavens, and a sign that the human king has been punished by the heavens. I think he must be uneasy and terrified day and night. The great emperor can also vent his anger. When the Monkey King heard that, he fell silent for a long time before saying, "What are the people of Qin's fault? This matter has nothing to do with them. Remove this. As for the rest, as you said." His words were actually a little lonely. Tai Bai Jinxing didn't know why the Monkey King was suddenly in low spirits, but he naturally wouldn't reject such a small matter. As Tai Bai Jinxing left with the Monkey King's opinion, the Monkey King knelt in front of Chenong and said, "Master, I know what you mean by the heavenly courts being immoral and offending the heavens and humans. The weather, wind, rain, thunder, lightning, the changes of the 4 seasons, and even floods and droughts are all part of the operation of the heavenly Tao. It's the survival of the fittest. The heart of the heavens is emotionless and only follows the Tao. As for the sentient beings, all sorts of love and hatred, karma, and retribution are part of the operation of the human Tao. Morals, ethics, reason, and laws should only be operated by the hearts of the living. Now that the divine Tao is mixed with the human Tao, the heavenly Tao is one, and the heavenly Tao is not separated. They operate the heavenly Tao according to the good and evil of the human Tao. On one hand, they use the good and evil of the human Tao to interfere with the operation of the heavenly Tao. On the other hand, they use the methods of the heavenly Tao to interfere with the human Tao. By mixing the heavenly will and the human Tao, the heavenly courts are indeed immoral. Master is the master of the human Tao, but you also respect the heavenly Tao and the survival of the fittest. This is the separation of the heavenly courts. On one hand, the human Tao is constantly striving to become stronger, and on the other hand, the heavenly courts naturally follows the Tao. This is the right Tao. Therefore, to follow the heavenly Tao and promote the human Tao, we should destroy the heavenly courts. This is the killing intent of the heavenly courts and the human Tao. When the stars change and the heaven and earth change, only then can the heavenly courts be united and set the foundation. Chinong sighed and said, "Idiot." As soon as the Monkey King finished speaking, he raised his cudgel and walked out of the door while laughing at the sky. In the next instant, the King of Qin suddenly felt uneasy in the palace. He turned his head and saw a monkey baring his teeth and glaring angrily. The monkey was holding an iron cudgel upside down and was about to hit his head. On the King of Qin's head, red and white were scattered all over the ground. The top of his head was split open, and a soul went straight to the netherworld. The King of Qin woke up and realized that it was just a dream. He was in a daze and felt extremely uneasy. He hurriedly shouted, "Someone come! Someone come! Go and invite Defangshur over." An attendant went to call for him. Not long later, the attendant ran back in panic and reported, Your Majesty, bad news! That Defangshur was beaten to death in the palace by an unknown murderer. His head was split open and red and white were scattered all over the ground. The King of Qin turned pale with fright. He stood up in horror and screamed before fainting. Beside the King of Qin, an invisible ghost messenger begged bitterly, "Great Emperor, you really can't. This King of Qin's lifespan hasn't ended yet. You can't take his soul away. You can do whatever you want to this great Emperor Defangshur. But this King of Qin still has 20 years left to live. His fate hasn't ended yet." The Monkey King smiled and said, "If you want the King of Qin, I'll give you the King of Qin. Stop being so long-winded and quickly suppress this fellow, or else I'll let you see my methods." As he said this, he casually pulled over the soul of a dead member of the side branch of the royal family and said to him, "From today onwards, you are the King of Qin." As soon as he finished, he stuffed the soul back into the King of Qin's body. The ghost messenger cried out continuously, but what was done could not be undone. He then suppressed the former King of Qin's soul and returned to the netherworld to report on his mission. In the King of Qin's court, the King of Qin shouted, "Ah!" and woke up. He asked in fear, "Great Emperor, what happened to you?" Chapter 880. After the Monkey King beat the King of Qin to death, he felt that it wasn't enough. He still had a sense of depression in his heart, but he couldn't kill the God of Thunder with his rod. This made it hard for him to vent his anger. However, the God of Thunder had a strong background and had the support of the great Heavenly Lord. Even though the Monkey King had humiliated the Emperor of East Mountain and caused a ruckus in the Heavenly River Navy, he still couldn't be easily dealt with. The Monkey King leaned on the golden cudgel and looked at the King of Qin and Tefanshi's lonely souls being taken away by the messengers of hell. This was supposed to be a joyful thing to do as he pleased, but it made the Monkey King unhappy. Under the rule of the heavenly court that ruled the 3 realms, there were all kinds of rules and laws, like a net that was endless. However, this inescapable net wasn't a fair law, but it had a strong sense of selfishness in it. The rules didn't have the ruthlessness and selflessness of the heavenly will, but it was like the gratitude and grudges of the human world. There were always entanglements and countless evil thoughts, making people unable to break free from it. Teacher didn't take this treasure away. Wukong took out the small golden boat from his bosom and thought, "Looks like he's tacitly allowing me to raise a group of soldiers in it, a lot of demons' mouths. Later, when I return, I'll ask Master for a favor and ask him to lend me the golden boat for a few more days. However, I have to let the Bull Demon King go first. Teacher's plan is exquisite. He has a huge family in Jile Mountain and many troops. It is said that he even hooked up with a Rakshasa princess and will bring a lot of dowry. Teacher told me to cast a long line and catch a big fish. Not only do I have to trick his troops into my hands, but I also have to trick his wife and even his children and concubines. It would be best if I can get him to invite friends from all over to fall into my trap. I still have to learn the skill of casting bait and catching fish. The Monkey King's shifty eyes darted around. After he made up his mind, he released a strand of hair, which turned into a golden light and entered the golden boat in his palm. The strand of hair turned into the appearance of the Monkey King and went to meet the 3 Demon Kings who were suppressing the golden boat's formation. Among the 3 Demon Kings, the Dragon Demon King had long been restrained by Chinong and became a traitor. He was in charge of provoking the Bull Demon King to seek revenge. However, the Rock Demon King and the Bull Demon King were locked up tightly after the battle at the southern Heavenly Gate. Demon Bull King, are you going to surrender or not? The Monkey King laughed coldly. Kill me if you dare. I, the Bull Demon King, would rather die than surrender to a lackey of the Heavenly Court. What kind of demon emperor are you? The true demon emperor will definitely unite all the demons in the world, lead an army to attack the Heavenly Court, and compete with that old Jade Emperor. Bull Demon King said hatefully, I will fight to the death with the Heavenly Court? The Monkey King laughed coldly and said, Then I will have to rely on you Demon Kings and Demon Kings. I will need your support, and I will have to indulge your demonic habits. Who knows? I will have to learn those filthy habits from you. I will have to learn from you cruel and despicable demons who enjoy blood and flesh. Dream on. Why should I, old son, give up a good natural treasure and learn from you to be a beast? Do I have to learn from those demons in order to rule them? There are pigs and dogs under me. Do I have to learn from them and eat sh*t? If you surrender to me, you will get rid of your rude and unreasonable habits and learn some morals and etiquette from the human race. This will also give me some credit in teaching you. If you don't surrender, I will lead the army to wipe out the demons and use you as a sacrifice. Wukong shouted sternly and interrogated the 3 Demon Kings. Speaking of which, are you guys surrendering or not? That Demon King Jiao received Chen Ang's instructions and whispered to the 2 Demon Kings, Brothers, where there's life, there's hope. We will pretend to surrender first, and when the time is right, we will raise the flag to rebel and teach him a lesson. For now, we will temporarily surrender. What do you 2 brothers think? The Rock Demon King snorted coldly and said, If you want to surrender, then surrender. If you want to rebel, then rebel. Why must you surrender first, and then rebel? I, the Rock Demon King, am not willing to be such a demon. That Monkey King is powerful and has amazing spirit. He is a hero among demons. It won't be embarrassing even if we surrender to him. But I, the Rock Demon King, disdain being such a villain. Second brother, don't say such words. What kind of hero among demons is he? The Bull Demon King said angrily, This is a dog of the Heavenly Court. What kind of hero am I, the Bull Demon King, to be inferior to this lowly demon? Even if I want to surrender, it won't do. Outside, the Monkey King said, Bull Demon King, I have fought 3 rounds with you. You can't even defeat a strand of my hair. How dare you boast and be so arrogant? Let me ask you, are you convinced of my strength? The Bull Demon King was enraged as he said this. He said to the Monkey King, You just used some tricks. If it was a fair fight, would I be afraid of you? You bullied me because I wasn't prepared and the Heavenly Court gods were plotting against me, causing me to lose in a daze. If I invite my friends and borrow a few powerful treasures, you won't be able to escape. All right. The Monkey King smiled and said, If that's the case, I will spare your life. I will let you invite your friends from all over the world and borrow the treasures of the great demon sage. We will fight again and see who is stronger. I will make you convinced. Before the Bull Demon King could reply, the Jiao Demon King replied impatiently, Monkey King, is what you said true? I, old son, am the Demon Emperor. Why would I lie to you country bumpkins? The Monkey King pretended to be angry. The Jiao Demon King hurriedly said to the Bull Demon King and the Rock Demon King, Brothers, if that's the case, why don't we fight it again? Since the Monkey King is so bold, let's invite the great demon kings of the 4 continents. The Monkey King is called the Demon Emperor, and there will definitely be many old and powerful demons who are not convinced. If we tell the demon kings about his arrogance, they will definitely be agitated. Many of the great demons who live in seclusion will not be able to resist coming out. When that time comes, we will unite the demon kings and fight the Monkey King. Only then can we wash away the humiliation today. The Jiao Demon King had used his glib tongue to persuade the Bull Demon King and the Rock Demon King. It was obvious how much trouble a traitor could cause. After the 3 demon kings made up their minds, they said to the Monkey King, "If you dare, let us out, and we will fight again." The Monkey King thought to himself, "I've fallen for their trap." He shook the golden ship and released the 3 demon kings. The Jiao Demon King did not even turn his head. The moment he left the golden ship, he transformed into a beam of light and left. The Rock Demon King hesitated for a moment before flapping his wings and escaping. Only the Bull Demon King came out of the golden ship and said to Wukong, "You are a forthright hero, but the Celestial Court and the demons are irreconcilable. Wait till I invite the great demons over. Then we will discuss the position of the Demon Emperor." The Monkey King laughed in his heart. Let's go. The more you can invite, the better. If you can invite 80% of the great demons of the 3 realms, I will be able to accomplish this in one go. It will save me the trouble of running around. These will all be my wealth in the future. Chapter 881. After the Monkey King released the 3 demon kings, he turned around and returned to the Zhongnan Mountain Temple. He saw his honored master and Laozi holding a golden lianhua and smiling at each other while sitting on the couch. Seeing that the Monkey King had returned, he ordered him to invite the other 2 disciples in the temple. The Monkey King then brought the green bull and Yi Shi to worship the 2 saints. The green bull also transformed into a human form. The 3 of them sat down and listened as Chun Ong held the golden lotus and showed it to the 3 of them. He said, "Just now, the great strength Bodhisattva of Spirited Mountain in the west brought a golden lotus from the 8 treasures merit pool under Buddha Tathagata. It was a letter that the great world Lord sent to me and fellow Taoist Tai Ching. The letter said that fellow Taoist Tai Ching and I will go to the west to spread the Dharma and transform into Buddha. It will be a great merit throughout the 3 realms. However, the Dharma must not be spread easily to prevent the Western barbarians from belittling our Dharma. Therefore, there must be corresponding tribulations. The saints should hold scriptures in one hand and a sword in the other, so that they can fight everywhere." Chun Ong stopped talking, smiled at Laozi, and explained, "Fellow Taoist Tai Ching was originally the reincarnation of Laozi. He traveled to the west and became a Buddha. He established the Pure Land and became one of the branches of Mahayana Buddhism in Spirited Mountain in the future. In the future, he achieved enlightenment and became Amitabha, also known as Amitabha Buddha. He went through 49 tribulations and educated the barbarians. Fellow Taoist Tai Ching is reasonable. He gave me a position which is in line with the name of my sect, which is Amitabha Buddha and Lao Dan. Fellow Taoist Tai Ching is reasonable. He gave me a position which is in line with the name of my sect, which is Amitabha Buddha, and Lao Dan is Amitabha Buddha. However, the orthodoxy of Spirited Mountain is stingy. The great world Lord Tathagata is afraid that he can't suppress 2 foreign monks like us. Previously, when the Monkey King made a mess in the Heavenly Palace, I set a trap at the foot of Mount Zhongnan. I defeated 3 of its bodhisattvas, 800 of its arhats, and stopped 3,000 of its Buddhas from leaving the gate of Spirited Mountain. Only then did the great world Lord Tathagata discuss with me. Therefore, there was the Golden Lotus Message Pact. The 2 saints transformed into Buddha and went to the west to teach all living beings. With the increase of Dharma luck, there must be an increase of devil hindrance. Under the increase of tribulations, many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Bhikkhus of Spirited Mountain wanted to come to the earth to stop me from going to the west. Many demon and demon kings also wanted to take this opportunity. According to the Golden Lotus Message Pact, Lao Dan and I are both mortals. It's difficult for us to defeat the devil hindrance. Therefore, we need the few of you to protect us. In the future, there will be a few people who are fated to inherit Lao Dan and I to become our disciples and protect us on our way to the west. Upon hearing this, the Monkey King had an idea. He silently activated his primordial spirit. The quantum primordial spirit was full of calculations. As it operated, it gradually saw through some of the secrets of heaven that the two saints had concealed. It turned out that the tribulations of becoming Buddha in the West were not that severe. With the two saints' profound background and profound mana, not many people in the world could face the tribulations for them. Therefore, most of them were just passing through the tribulations. However, Chinong was very calculative. He pushed the Monkey King out. After a series of calculations, he caused havoc in the heavenly palace and allowed the Monkey King to ascend to the position of the Demon Emperor, which almost caused the great tribulation of the humans and demons. If the Monkey King was not conferred by the heavenly court, his Dharma luck would start from the demons. There would be an almost unstoppable great tribulation of the humans and demons. The three realms would be slaughtered until there was a winner between the humans, the demons, the heavenly court, and the demons. 99% of the winners would be the demons, and the heavenly court would rule for another hundreds of tribulations. If the Monkey King was only conferred by the heavenly court, he could only be a puppet. In the future, he would inevitably have to rebel against the heavenly court. However, Chin Ang's calculations and the Monkey King's hair clones had deceived many demon kings and demon armies. With a foundation and the Dharma luck of the heavenly court, there were many unknown changes in the tribulations. Now, many tribulations had not been settled. Chin Ang integrated the great tribulation of the humans and demons into the tribulation of becoming Buddha in the West. He wore the appearance of traveling to the West, but in fact, it was the Demon Emperor's tribulations that were determined by the Monkey King. The tribulations that entangled the three sages were extremely dangerous. In the future, when the great sage, Sakyamuni, Chinong, and Lao Dan traveled to the West, the three sages sat in India and discussed Tao. They developed the Mahayana Buddhism together and turned the Hinayana Buddhism into the Mahayana Buddhism. In a day, they achieved three Buddhas, Sakyamuni, Amitabha and Amitabha Buddha, and the Amitabha Buddha, and the devil tribulation was almost endless. Such tribulations had exceeded the calculations of anyone except the three sages. Even the great heavenly Lord Jade Emperor and the Monkey King could not understand it. The Monkey King touched the veins and was shocked by the complicated karma. He bowed and said, "There's something that I don't understand. Master, please enlighten me. The tribulations of this journey to the West are really complicated. I don't know how many tribulations and difficulties we'll have to go through. Do you have a number?" Chen Ong pondered for a moment and suddenly smiled. There should be 3,000 major tribulations and 129,600 minor tribulations for such complicated tribulations, which is exactly the number of 1 yuan. However, most of them are the devil tribulation of the birth of the three Buddhas, or the tribulations of the heavenly court. In the future, the tribulations of the disciples of Tai Ching and me will be the total tribulations of the three realms. Many of them will have to be delayed until 2,000 years later. There are only 81 tribulations on this journey to the West. Lao Dan also opened his eyes. His long eyebrows trembled slightly as he said slowly, "Once we leave the Luguan, we'll enter the tribulations and face many tribulations?" When sure, she stepped forward and said, "I'm here." Lao Dan said, "The tribulations on you are shallow. Therefore, there's no fate on this journey to the West. When you arrive at Quicksand River, go back. When you return to the Central Plains, teach me the Tao of Tao." As soon as Lao Dan said this, Ishi sensed it. He knew that the sage was right, so he bowed and promised. Lao Dan said again, "Green Bull." The burly man that the Green Bull transformed into stepped forward and said, "Master, the Green Bull is here." Lao Dan sighed and said, "You've carried me to the west. You've worked hard and been cautious. I'll temporarily give you the Vajra bracelet to protect yourself. You'll have your own fate in the future." The Green Bull quickly bowed and said, "Thank you for your kindness, Master." Monkey King. Lao Dan shouted at the end. The Monkey King went forward and still bowed to him as a master. Lao Jun said, "Although you're cult master Chen's disciple, you're also my disciple. You have a deep root of sin. The celestial stone turned into your original form. If you were a human and a monkey, your spirituality would be the strongest. However, the monkey form is unpredictable, so it's the most difficult to subdue it. Therefore, your root of sin is deep because it's difficult to have two hearts. You were originally a lawless and out-of-control person. Even though your wisdom is natural and your perception is superb, it does not conform to my temperament of not doing anything and not doing anything. Therefore, Cult Master Chin thinks highly of you, but I did not teach you anything. You're in the midst of a tribulation. If you're a normal cultivator, you'll naturally be terrified. However, you're Cult Master Chen's disciple. I'm afraid that your lineage doesn't care about tribulations at all. You don't cultivate morals, don't respect ethics, don't seek longevity, don't have emotions, don't ask for inner thoughts, don't ask for help from the outside. You're lawless, able to deal with all tribulations, cut off all karma, and only the Tao is in front of you. Cult Master Chen's path of seeking Tao is too cruel. It's very possible. Monkey King, you know it yourself." Lao Dan said. He lowered his eyebrows and didn't say anything else. The Monkey King bowed deeply, and when he stood up again, he was no shorter than Lao Dan. He returned to his seat, and Chanong said, "If that's the case, let's pack our luggage and get ready to go." The Green Bull returned to the empty space in front of the temple and transformed back into its original form. The Monkey King held the golden ship and thought with some difficulty, "I've used Master's carriage to install a lot of equipment. What should I do?" Before he could think of a way, the golden ship in his hand turned into a bronze carriage. Chinong and Lao Dan came out from the temple. Chinong glanced at the Monkey King indifferently and got on the carriage without saying anything. The Monkey King was instantly dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say. Could it be that he had to ask his master to lift his, and release the 10 million demon army under him? Chapter 882. The Monkey King drove the oxen and the carriage out of Mount Zhongnan. After walking for a few days, they were already out of Qin's territory. It was a scenic spot in the center of the pass. The lush forests and plains were now filled with rolling hills. The wind was blowing, and large tracts of farmland had turned into grasslands. Although there were many remnants of Shirong, it was still Qin territory. This was due to the work of Dr. Bai Li Shi 100 years ago. Bai Li Shi assisted Duke Mu to destroy the 12 countries of Shirong, expanding their territory by 1,000 miles. The first emperor of Qin was a descendant of a merchant, a descendant of the Xian bird and the same ancestor as Minister Zhao of Jin. 100 years later, during the Warring States period, the three families were divided and Minister Zhao established his own country, Zhao. Both Qin and Zhao were descendants of Fei Lian. The Ying family was the descendant of Fei Lian's eldest son, Erlai, while the Zhao family was the descendant of his second son, Jisheng. Because the ancestor of the Zhao family created a father who was bestowed the land of Zhao. The first emperor of Qin, the Ying family, was named Zheng, so Yingzheng's name was Zhaozheng. Now the two families still had some friendship, but during the Warring States period, the two countries with the same surname, Qin and Zhao, were already mortal enemies. The first emperor of Qin, Qin Feizi, also known as Zhao Feizi, was King Shao of Zhou. After 5 generations, he conquered the warhounds, expanded the barbarians, and cut down the thorns. Finally, Duke Xiang ascended to the throne, and Duke Mu expanded his territory by 1,000 miles to the west, becoming the western screen of Huaxia, a large country in the center of the pass. The oxen carriage traveled on the Qin road. Suddenly, a merchant who was herding cattle saw the bronze carriage and came up to talk. "Master on the carriage, you can't go any further. Further ahead is the Yichu tribe. They are the war hounds, bloodthirsty and barbaric. They are most wary of people from Huaxia, other than the merchants who are familiar with them. Anyone who goes to their territory will be harmed by them." The Monkey King saw that the person who came up to advise him was a slightly childish youth and replied, "This little brother, we don't even have an inch of armor with us. There are only my 2 masters on the carriage, bringing us to study the various countries. When the Yichu people see us empty-handed, they won't treat us as bad people. You're going to harm them at every turn." When the youth saw the Monkey King's true appearance, he was shocked. He pointed at the Monkey King and said, "Why is there hair on your face? Like a monkey?" Monkey King giggled. "I'm from the hairy nation of the south. I admire the culture of the Central Plains, so I'm under your tutelage." "I see." The youth said embarrassedly, "I've never left Qin. The furthest I've gone is to sell cattle in Guangzhou with my father." "What a surprise! I've heard that the people of the Chu kingdom in the south have feathers on their bodies and thorns all over their faces. They look like ghosts and gods. I think the people of the south are more eccentric and not as pure as us northerners. But all of you didn't even bring armor, so you'll probably be killed by that Rongdi even more. Rongdi fears power but not virtue. If you bring armor, those small tribes will see that you have some resistance and are afraid of losing too many young warriors, so they won't make a move. Only those large tribes with thousands of people will make a move. If you go west without any weapons, I'm afraid you'll be killed by those war hounds in less than 2 days." The youth solemnly vowed, "When we go to the Shirong to sell horses, we'll sell them salt and silk, as well as their cattle and horses, exchanging what they need. We are the people that the war hounds need the most. It's like this. Every time the merchants go to the Yichu, there will be 1 or 2 out of 10 that will be killed by those greedy war hounds. Our caravan has armor and strong bows and crossbows. The caravan is filled with strong men who are skilled in martial arts, so we won't be harmed by them. If you really want to go to the Shirong to test your knowledge, it's best if you find a caravan that passes by." The Monkey King saw that he was riding a horse and had some skills. His eyes turned, and he suddenly said with a smile, "With this kind of armored caravan, if we meet a small Rome tribe, we'll have to do business without any capital, right?" The youth gave a shy smile. He was a bit embarrassed, but there was no shame in his smile as he said, "If we meet a small tribe with a lot of cattle and horses, of course we'll rob them. Those barbarian Rongdi are like the beasts that our Qin people raise in the wild. These beasts have bad horns, so when they grow fat, naturally we'll slaughter them. When our Qin men grow up, we'll kill them and expel them, expanding our land." The youth looked up at the indifferent listening Chinong, an old man on the carriage, and asked, "You 2 masters seem to be knowledgeable people, but do you look down on us?" Chinong said with a smile, "Respecting the king and expelling the barbarians is the righteous cause of China. How can we look down on it? Moreover, the way of humans is to constantly strive for self-improvement. The way of the heavens is to survive. Isn't it in accordance with the will of the heavens to expand our land and kill?" The old man said, "Taishang, we don't know. Next, we praise him. Next, we fear him. Next, we humiliate him. If we don't believe in him, we don't believe in him." Long Shi, what noble words. When success is achieved, the people will say, "I am natural." The youth's eyes brightened, and he said with a smile, "Both of you are indeed knowledgeable scholars, unlike those muddle-headed people who talk about treachery and robbery. 2 years ago, a person from Qi came, and his mind is so muddled. This is a little strange. The preaching scholars are not like the pedantic scholars of the later generations who talk about benevolence and benevolence. The early Qin dynasty was the time when China was expanding its territory and martial arts were at their peak. Even if Confucius was here and saw the army of the Qin dynasty, he would probably praise 111, "My quilt is on the left." As a result, the Qin and Han dynasties inherited the customs of the pre-Qin dynasty and were highly skilled in martial arts. They only praised the martial arts of conquering the barbarians and did not advise them to be hypocritical. Under this kind of honoring the king and expelling the barbarians, the people of Qi were strange flowers. The youth had a good impression of them and couldn't bear to see them send themselves to death. So he suggested, "Those warhounds have a murderous nature and are very fierce. You shouldn't go west for now. It's already close to winter, and if you go west, it won't be long before winter arrives. At that time, there won't be any firewood on the prairies, and there will be a white disaster. It'll be dangerous to lose your way. It's really a 9 out of 10 chance of survival. It's a blessing from the heavens to meet the righteous Canal War Hounds winter camp. Those war hounds lack food and clothing during the winter, so they will definitely not let you go. Perhaps your flesh will be taken advantage of by those war hounds. It's better to wait until next spring when the war hounds need salt and copper. Then you can travel with those large caravans." Although this youth had good intentions and his words were reasonable, Chenong, the Monkey King, and the others were not normal people. Moreover, they were going to the western Sinu. If they stopped for half a year today and rested for 2 months tomorrow, it would take them several years to finish. The road to the west was different from 1,000 years later when the Great Tang was flourishing. At that time, the western countries would have relations with the Great Tang, and there would be many merchants coming and going. With a Silk Road, it would not be hard to go to India. But the current Huaxia was still filled with martial arts, and the western region was filled with barbarians. There were the Xiongnu war hounds, Turks, Yuezhi, and various other nomadic tribes. If they were a bit late, they might even meet the Greek Macedonians. They were all barbarians who ate raw meat and drank blood, killing each other. With Chun Ang's group heading west, they would definitely kill their way out. The Monkey King could not think of a solution, so he could only ask Chenong, "Master, this road to the west is filled with barbarians and savages. Perhaps they won't even know how to speak. I've seen these kinds of people when I went east in the past. On the deserted islands of the Eastern Sea, there are barbarian tribes that cannot be reasoned with. They are like beasts and cannot be considered humans. This child is right. Going west is indeed difficult. I, old son, have to kill hundreds and thousands of people. I can't bear to kill those barbarians, and master, you are not willing to reveal your supernatural powers. What should I do?" Chan Ong smiled. "It is precisely the barbarians that need to be enlightened by Master and Laozi. Our journey is not only to go to Sinu to discuss the Tao with Rulai, but also to spread the seeds of civilization and enlighten the Buddha. Therefore, this journey to the West is not to visit, teach, or teach that chieftain, but to fight, conquer, slaughter, and preach. Wherever there are demons, there will be you, the heavens' equal demon, great emperor. I know that the road to the West is filled with humans and demons. These barbarians, Rongdi, savages, and demons live together, so you will be the one to kill your way through. This journey to the Western heaven is to let the tribes that believe in my teachings prosper. To conquer those even more barbaric Rongdi, it is to let them raise their weapons and kill each other until blood flows." After Chenong finished, he muttered to himself for a moment before saying, "However, that Itsu tribe is slightly different. It has been close to China for a long time and was a vassal state during the time of Emperor Mu. Later on, they rebelled, but they also learned some principles from China and had laws. They are not a completely barbarian tribe, but they have sprouted the seeds of civilization. Although there are shamans who sacrifice the blood of demons and demons, they are different from those half-demon, half-human Rongdi. Monkey King, it won't be good for you to make a move. After 100 years, this place will belong to Qin. It cannot be mixed with the Rongdi demons." Chapter 883. That young man cupped his hands and replied, "In this cold weather, Who dares to go to Chiron? Everyone should wait until the snow melts in spring. The Monkey King had already expected this and said, I won't hide it from little brother. Us four master and disciples are traveling to the west, and the journey is very long. We will reach the western barbarians, and if we don't dare to travel, we won't be able to finish it even after 70 or 80 years. The young man couldn't bear to see them send themselves to their deaths and refused to say anything. Finally, the Monkey King said with a smile, Then does little brother know someone who is familiar with Chin and the Righteous Canal and can be our guide? There will be a way to the Righteous Canal in the west. This is a method. If someone says yes, the Righteous Canal King admires the culture of the Central Plains and might not make things difficult for the two of you. The young man said, But if you go to the Righteous Canal, you will still have a chance of survival. After all, the Righteous Canal King was once friendly with our Xia, but you must not go west. The Guifeng people over there live with demons and ghosts and are very evil. They eat people's livers and are like ghosts. Moreover, the old Righteous Canal King favored people from the Central Plains. Later, on the Jin countries, you won the trust of the Righteous Canal King and was sent to our country. The previous king saw that Yu was familiar with the customs of the Righteous Canal and used a large sum of money to lure him and the Righteous Canal King, making you join our old Qin instead. After that, Yu became a general and won many battles, helping the country 12 times and opening up 1,000 miles of land. The current Righteous Canal King is the old king's son, and because of this, he is very wary of the people of the Central Plains. If you want to gain his trust and send troops to protect you on your journey to the west and not be harmed by those small tribes, there will be many difficulties. The Monkey King nodded and said, You. Us master and disciples are not afraid of any difficulties. We are only afraid of wasting time on the road and not being able to travel. As long as we are on the road, no matter how many difficulties there are, I, old son, will be able to deal with them. If you insist on this, then follow me. We often go to the canal to trade, so we know many people who are familiar with the canal. Us Qin people are naturally not willing to die with you, but there are many soldiers here that were left behind when the canal was divided. They are greedy and do not care about their lives. So if you bribe them with money, they will definitely be willing. The young man said, Only those mixed hounds do not have any integrity and are very greedy. I'm afraid that they will collude with the Righteous Canal's war hounds to harm you. If they come back alone with the goods, I will kill that person. Consider it as revenge for you. Of course, the Monkey King would not be harmed by a small Qin warhounds, but he still accepted his request and cupped his hands in thanks. That young man's family was very large. Just the herd of cattle and horses alone numbered over 1,000. His first words were to kill the war hounds to avenge them, so his family must be a Qin merchant. He gave the whip to the shepherd and brought Chinong and the others to his home. The young man's family was in the livestock business, as well as some goods from various countries. The merchants of this time could not compare to the future. They could truly travel the world. This was because there were many wars between countries, so the flow of goods was not smooth. There was a large price difference between high and low, but because the countries were opposing each other, there was a large risk in trading. Therefore, a true merchant would be like a small army every time they went on a business trip. They would guard against thousands of bandits, while also guarding against the armies of various countries. The young man's father was even more so. He was in the cattle and horses business, so he had several large herds of cattle and horses. How could these beasts be placed in one place? Every day, he would chase after the water and distribute the cattle to different pastures. At a fixed time, he would go to various places to sell them. Therefore, he would always bring his entire fortune with him at all times. The young man's home was a market where the caravan had set up camp. Light sheds were scattered around the market, and in the center was the young man's father. There was a caravan that was tightly arranged. Around them were the scattered merchants who were trying to make a living. Most of them were from the Hu tribe. Most of the Qin people were wealthy and did not want to live a vagrant life. Only the Hu tribe left from the righteous canal in the past could adapt to this kind of life. Chunong was currently riding on a bronze ox carriage. The strong plate, horned green ox was not much, but the bronze used for the carriage was very rare. At this time, the countries could already smelt iron, but in China, the taste of iron was rather poor. The smelting technology had not developed to that level, so the quality of pig iron was extremely poor. It was known as bad metal, while bronze was known as good metal. It was worth a lot. Chunong was riding on a bronze carriage, and his extravagance was comparable to riding on a golden carriage in the future. Only the nobility of a large country could be so extravagant. Thinking about the spring and autumn hegemon, he was only known as the Kingdom of Thousand Chariots. His chariot did not even use a third of the bronze that Chunong was riding on. Chun Ang's extravagance as he entered the camp. The young man's father heard about it and came out to welcome him. He saw a stout official with an enviable fat reserve. Chunong saw that the war-hound women were looking at the official with admiration and admiration. Thinking about it, in the eyes of the people now, the stout official had a double chin, a big belly, and was no less than the vest muscles and mermaid lines of the future. This fat official, in the eyes of the present, could be said to be a Pan and Songyu, a model of a tyrant who had both beauty and wealth. The stout middle-aged man was full of smiles as he welcomed them. "The two doctors have come from afar, but I have been impolite and was unable to send someone to welcome you. I have already ordered people to prepare a banquet to welcome the two doctors." Chunong declined with a smile. "Gentleman Zhu, don't be anxious. I think I have a flaw in my divination, and there are always no good banquets. The few times I have attended banquets, I have hindered the host. Either my blood splattered on the spot, or my soul was lost. I have received your kind invitation. How could I have hindered you? Let's just have a simple reception. We still need a gentleman's help on our journey to the west." Hearing him decline like this, some people were dissatisfied. A shrewd-looking steward following behind Zhu Dehao laughed. "I wonder what kind of hindrance it is? Asking a guest to reject my host's face?" She had wronged Chunong. He was doing this out of good intentions. Chunong silently counted. The number of times he had attended banquets was really not many. It was just a few times when he was on Mount Shu, a birthday, or a gathering. It was just that the outcome was not very good. The birthday person lost his own life. The gathering fought with him on the spot, be it the host, the guest, the manservant, or the chef. Basically, all died in the end. Counting carefully, the hosts and guests of those banquets were basically all killed by him. There were also people like Zhu Dehao who treated him like this. The king of the Merman Sea Kingdom seemed to have been killed by the prince. As for the guests, he was killed on the spot. And in this life, there was also one who invited him to a banquet, the one who posted the invitation, the one who invited him, and now they were suffering in the 18 levels of hell, becoming a pair of brothers in hardship. Chunong could only sigh. "The last time King Qin invited me, this brute disciple of mine caused a ruckus and fought his way out of the royal court, only scaring my queen mother. I wonder if she has calmed down a little?" Zhu Dehao's face twitched. His heart was inexplicably shocked. He thought to himself, "Bitter! How did I provoke this group of evil stars to come uninvited?" Chapter 884. Zhu Dehao's heart was perturbed. After settling Chunong and the other three down, and after asking about their intentions, he used the excuse of finding a guide for them to go to Yichu country and sneaked into an inconspicuous little tent in the camp of the caravan. This little tent looked inconspicuous, but upon closer inspection, it was an extremely heavily guarded position in the camp, and was what Zhu Dehao relied on to survive. Zhu Dehao's fat body stealthily entered the tent. There was a small altar inside with blood food creams under it. There was a ferocious god statue with a green face and fangs, but it had the style of the warhounds barbarians. Merchant Zhu Dehao pushed a mountain of gold and knelt down like a jade pillar. He picked up an incense stick and silently prayed. Not long later, a trace of black smoke came from the statue on the altar, and a strange voice came from inside. "Zhu Qishu, I am currently in closed-door cultivation. I've told you that you can't disturb me if there is nothing important. Every year during the summer and autumn, you've asked me to guard you and protect you from all directions, which has already dragged down my cultivation. Seeing that you've always worshipped me and never become tired, as well as the kindness of saving me in the past, I haven't broken my promise. Now, even when I am in closed-door cultivation during the winter, you still want to disturb me. Don't you know that my original body's habits haven't disappeared, and breaking my closed-door cultivation during the winter will greatly damage my spirit? Why did you light the incense stick to summon me? Zhu Qishu was indeed a famous merchant of the Qin state. He made a prompt decision and said, "It is an unforgivable sin to disturb elder immortals' cultivation. I am willing to offer 10 bulls as a token of my apology. I will eat the blood of a mortal." 10 bulls. The immortal on the other side did not have any resentment and said in a satisfied voice, "You are quite sincere, so I'll forgive your disrespect. But if you want me to make a move, you'll need a man full of blood energy. It's not that I'm greedy, but coming out during the winter goes against my original body's habits, causing the yin flames to grow. I need a man full of blood energy to balance it." Zhu Haoshang thought to himself, "Luckily, there are those mixed beards that follow my caravan. These people are like weeds, there is no end to them. Those farmers work hard every day and have long been drained of qi and blood. They might not be able to satisfy the snake demon's appetite. On the other hand, those mixed beards grow naturally and grow fat. I can just randomly pick one and steal it, and it will satisfy the demon's appetite. There are more than a few hundred people who follow my caravan. They are lazy and greedy by nature. They hate hard work and are greedy for money, but they are unwilling to work hard on the land. They follow my caravan and travel here and there, doing some businesses that have no capital or swindling people. They feel that this kind of life is how they should live. Over the years, many of them have gathered. The more of these people there are, the more trouble there will be. If I allow them to expand their influence, they might even set their sights on me and become vicious. In the past few years, I've killed a lot of them in secret. I didn't expect that there would be people joining them from time to time. They've already become powerful. Don't mention one healthy man. Even if it's 100, I'm willing to give it to you. It's just that I can't let this monster have a bigger appetite and ask for more offerings in the future. AI. When I was young, I didn't know how to train monsters. I saved this snake spirit from the hands of the war-hound shamans and obtained its help. Only then was I able to earn this large family business. At that time, I would easily need 8 to 10 bulls as offerings, raising this monster's appetite. Now, a single offering costs me 50 bulls and horses. I've wasted a lot of my capital. Zhu Deheo's heart was filled with sorrow. He was not familiar with business when he was young, so he couldn't lower the cost. His mouth did not stop as he clearly told the news of Chun Ang's group. He knew that this snake demon was his family's backer, so he needed to rely on it to deal with those with supernatural powers. Therefore, he spoke very clearly. He even had vague information about what happened in the Qin court and what happened to Tifangshi. The snake demon thought for a moment and said, "This group of people might have powerful cultivators. I've been in seclusion for the past few days, not only because of my nature, but also because of some extremely important news. A few months ago, in the land of Qin, there was a sudden rise of 100,000 mountains. This matter was extremely terrifying, and it might be related to the celestial affairs of the upper realms heaven court. We are just a small demon in the human world. How would we dare to get involved? Even if we were to be involved, we would be in danger." After a few days, there was a rain of blood from the sky. Countless broken pieces of celestial weapons and celestial corpses fell from the sky. Some greedy monsters went to search for the celestial flesh. Eating a bite of the celestial's flesh would be of great help. Those broken pieces of celestial weapons were even more priceless. At that time, I was not optimistic about it. How could ants like us stand by and watched the fight between the big shots of the upper realm. As expected, all of a sudden, the 100,000 mountains disappeared. Those fellows whose hearts were covered with lard also disappeared. After a few months, the demons of the world sent a message saying that the demon emperor was born and gathered the demons to attack the southern heavenly gate. I don't know how these strange incidents are connected, but the shadow behind them is probably huge. There must be an earth-shattering conspiracy that involves the entire three realms. At the Southern Heaven's Gate meeting, there were a few demon kings and demons who were extremely ferocious among the fiendish demons. But there was no news of them after that. This kind of terrifying matter, if you are even slightly involved, it will be a great danger. Zhu Qishu, when I was in trouble in the past, I received your help and was not refined into a demonic treasure by the war hound's great shaman. Afterwards, I protected you in every way possible, helping you to travel safely. But during this period of time, you better be careful. If you get into some terrifying trouble, I can only reluctantly part with you. After all, no matter how big the favor is, it is not as important as my own life. If you are only doing some small things like slaughtering the war hound's tribes and capturing their people, it is fine. I will suppress my own fire and come out to help you. But if you want to deal with those unknown people and kill them for their goods, don't blame me for not agreeing. This world is truly dangerous. It is not something a muddle-headed little demon like me can mess with. Zhu Qishu and the great merchant silently remembered these secrets of the immortals after hearing them. For merchants like them, every piece of information could be of great use in the future, not to mention matters involving the immortals. Even if they did not understand the meaning of it now, they could have an opportunity in the future. A demon with a heart of cultivation, like the snake demon, only wanted to escape the calamity and stay away from the huge black hand that encompassed the entire three realms. But a businessman like Zhu Qishu was different. He only thought about how to use the information, and even took great risks to get involved in it to fight for immeasurable benefits. Managing the land and farming is only 10 times the profit. Selling strange things and controlling the weight is only 100 times the profit. Even if it is pleasing the king and managing the country's politics, it is only 1,000 times or 10,000 times the profit. But what about managing the immortals? The benefits are incalculable. Zhu Qishu did not show it on his face, but his heart was surging, and he wished he could roar into the sky. If there is a chance to get involved in the dethronement of the immortals, with my ability, can I stir up trouble? Zhu Qishu placed his palm on the few pieces of cloth that recorded the details of the banquet in the Qin court. There were many pieces of information written on them, but they were already blurred. It was enough for Zhu Qishu to piece together an incomplete jigsaw. During the banquet of the Emperor of Qin, a divine monkey caused havoc in the Qin court. The necromancers went up the stage to cast spells and use the art of moving mountains. The 10,000 mountains outside Mount Zhongnan suddenly appeared. Then he heard from the snake demon that the corpses of the immortals and a rain of blood fell from the sky. It's the will of the heavens. Zhu Qishu sighed. If it wasn't for the will of the heavens, how could I have met these people? They must have a close connection with those strange things. They might even be the key figures in the conspiracy that the demon mentioned. If I miss this chance, where will I get another chance to gain immeasurable benefits? Even if there is a great risk, I absolutely can't miss it. Zhu Qishu made up his mind. Coming out of the small tent, he shouted to his left and right, "Someone pass down my orders. Prepare to break camp." I feel like old friends with the two virtuous sages, and I know that it will be difficult for them to go to the righteous canal country. So I will help them with all my strength. Organize a caravan and accompany them to the righteous canal. The faces of the stewards all changed as they quickly stopped him. "You can't. Master, it's almost winter. If we don't go to the grasslands to rest, countless cattle and sheep will freeze to death on the way. Moreover, if we meet with heavy snow and strong winds, the thousands of us will all die on the way. Even if we reach the righteous canal, those war hounds people will already be starving. Isn't this like sheep entering a tiger's den? Zhu Qishu coldly shouted. I've already made my decision. Stop wasting my breath. Quickly prepare. Those managers had no other choice. Now was not the future, and the lives of the workers and managers in the caravan depended on the great merchant Zhu. There was no such thing as resigning. They could only leave with their last breath, looking at Chinong and the others who were resting on the side with hatred. They wondered if they had cast some kind of magic to confuse their master's mind and then gave such an absurd order. Chapter 885. Even Chinong did not expect merchant Zhu to be so decisive. Their caravan was used to roaming around, so they packed up very quickly. Their orders were neat and uniform, just like an army. If they really fought apart from the big countries like Qin, Lu, Chu, and Jin, half of the smaller countries and old states would not be a match for this caravan. That big merchant Zhu also gathered his family's capable and good-for-nothing descendants and instructed, I want to do a big business, to earn riches and honor that will overflow the sky. Only there are many obscure, dangerous, uncertain areas in the future. Therefore, I have gathered all of you here and let you choose. If you are willing to go with me, then go pack your luggage. If not, then you can leave with nothing and stay here. The descendants of the great merchant Zhu were in an uproar. When most of them were sensible, the great merchant Zhu had already built up such a large family business and operated it steadily. Therefore, he had never encountered such a setback. How could he have imagined that he would encounter such a difficult choice? Immediately, many of them begged Zhu Qishu to give up on such an appalling decision. But how could Zhu Qishu be swayed by these ordinary descendants? He only sneered, and under his pressure, some began to waver. One of his favorite grandchildren pleaded, Old ancestor, we can't stop you if you want to do a big business. But you have to leave some family business for our descendants to live in peace. Give us a few herds of cows and horses, and we can manage it ourselves. How can we be kicked out empty-handed? As soon as he said this, many people agreed. Unexpectedly, merchant Zhu only sneered and said, These cows and horses are the capital of my business. Even this is not enough. So how can I waste them on you? I can write a few letters to you so that you can make use of the connections I have accumulated. Other than that, every blade of grass and every tree, even a stuck of fodder, is my capital. Whoever dares to touch it will be punished according to the family law. A few of his good-for-nothing sons were dumbfounded. Some of them who knew the inside story called out, Father, moving the cattle to the righteous canal, who knows how many will freeze and starve to death on the way. Could it be that you would rather the cattle and horses freeze and starve to death than leave them for your descendants? Zhu Qishu smiled and said, Those that freeze and starve to death on the way are the losses of my capital. Naturally, it has to be counted as capital. I can only think of ways to reduce the losses, but it is a necessary loss. What I left to you is not an investment, but a loss beyond the cost. It does not help the business I want to do in the slightest. When doing business, every bit of capital must be used on the blade. Now that I'm taking such a huge risk to do something big, I naturally have to exchange all my wealth for capital. How could I waste it on useless things? After saying that, no matter how much his sons and grandsons begged, Zhu Qishu's heart was as hard as stone. His eldest son, who had been with him the longest, bowed deeply to him and said, I know that Father's trip this time will be dangerous. Father is willing to bet his wife and children's business, to fight for riches and honor, but I am not willing to give up everything for this. Since that is the case, why not entrust me with the property that you cannot take with you and the connections that you have managed for decades? I will definitely be here to support you. Who knows? Maybe I will be of use to that big business. Zhu Qishu looked at his eldest son's wrinkled and calm eyes. He suddenly smiled and said, You are the most like me. He entrusted the property that he could not settle down for the time being to his eldest son and the connections that he had managed for decades. In this way, This unremarkable eldest son inherited 30 to 40% of the duke's wealth. Zhu Qishu summoned all his sons and grandsons and divided the property, leaving only the youngest to accompany Qinong and the others. This was because the duke had long regarded this youngest son as an important capital for this business. Because of his words in front of Qinong, the other sons and grandsons still had the chance to back out, but this son did not even have the chance to get off the boat. In addition, he performed another spell to invite the snake demon over. He said, "I have disturbed Elder Immortal this time because there is a big business to be done in Itsu country. I hope Elder Immortal can be my guarantor. After this business is completed, I am willing to offer half of my wealth." The snake demon said, "You should know that my cultivation is not high enough to get rid of my nature, so I have to sleep and meditate during the winter. It's fine to temporarily disturb me, but it will only cause the Yin fire to rise and damage my true qi. If I go against my nature, I will not be able to meditate for the entire winter, and it will greatly damage my cultivation and spirit. Although I owe you a great debt of gratitude, I have protected you for decades. This time, I have already repaid my kindness by damaging my cultivation for you. From now on, we will no longer be fated. I am willing to exchange my previous kindness for Elder Immortal's help this time." Zhu Qishu said calmly. A layer of black gas floated above the god statue that the snake demon was attached to, dragging a jade talisman into Zhu Qishu's hand. The snake demon said, "If you have an invitation, use this talisman to inform me. I will follow you for dozens of miles. Those 4 guests have a great background. It is not convenient for me to appear in front of them." Zhu Qishu kowtowed and thanked him, then took the jade talisman and left without saying a word. When he was far away, the snake demon's faint sigh came from the small tent. "Zhu Qishu, how could I not know your plan? Those 4 people are indeed related to the Black Hand that schemed against the 3 realms and shook the heaven court, just as you thought. If I were you, I would also risk my life to cultivate and become an immortal. How can I hope to live without purpose? I don't lack the courage to advance and fight to the death. But I already have a way to avoid the 3 disasters, and I have the confidence to live forever. How can I throw my life into such a dangerous and unpredictable whirlpool? But I can't give up this opportunity. I can only maintain a heart of treading on thin ice and watch from outside this whirlpool, throwing a thread into it. With this bit of connection, I will carefully search for the opportunity. If something goes wrong, I will break this thread and escape. Zhu Qishu, you are this thread." Zhu Deheo was very good at managing his family. In less than half a day, the caravan had already packed up and was ready to depart. No one knew what Zhu Deheo did, but although everyone in the caravan was complaining, no one dared to retreat or escape. Even more than half of the barbarians who followed the caravan followed. When they set off, the weather was not good, and it was already snowing for the 2nd time. Qinong sat on the bronze chariot, and a brazier was raised in the middle of the chariot frame. Through the fire in the chariot, the whole chariot frame was warm. Qinong and the others were all people with great divine power, so they did not need such things. They just had an agreement with Buddha not to use their divine power. Chapter 886. Merchant Zhu wanted to curry favor with Qinong and the others, rushing the caravan. In just 2 days, they had passed through the pass that Qin had set up at the border of the Yi River country. After exiting the pass, the world suddenly became vast and boundless. White grass covered the ground, and snow covered the ground, covering it. The path that the caravan had taken had already been covered in snow, making it hard for people to tell if they were on the right path or not. The world was a vast expanse of whiteness with no direction. The mountains on the horizon rose and fell, winding like a dragon. The caravan trudged through the snowy plains, and the snow that covered their ankles made it even harder for them to identify the path. The people walking at the back could only follow the footsteps of the people in front. The several thousand people in the caravan melted the snow and the road became muddy. Stepping on the melted snow, even if one had good felt boots, they would still be soaked. On the road, there were already several dozen people who were frostbitten. It was also a good thing that Merchant Zhu was very talented. He divided the several thousand people into several groups and had a few capable fellows as the vanguard to find the right path. There was also a vanguard that left half a day in advance, looking for a place with a water source, finding grassland, and setting up a camp. The middle group drove the horses and cows for half a day before stopping to practice for 2 hours. There was also the rear group that took care of the old, weak, and frostbitten people. As for Chun Ang's group and Merchant Zhu, they were in the last group of the middle group. Although the Monkey King came from the East Sea's Ao Lai country to the Central Plains, he had seen a lot of things, but he had only seen the wonders of the sea. He had wandered through many countries, but he had never come to the northwest plateau of the Nanzhan state. In this 1,000-mile wilderness, there were no signs of human habitation. It was a bit strange. The caravan passed by many warhounds' camps, but they were all abandoned. That youth surnamed Zhu smiled as he introduced the customs of the Shirong, who are very different from our Central Plains. They live as nomads and chase water plants. This kind of camp is only used in spring and summer every year, and they have to prepare to migrate in autumn. They should have already migrated to the south by now. But the warhounds have also learned farming from our Central Plains. Their capital has a righteous canal and also has farmland, so they can support the nobles in the city and not be nomadic. We'll be able to see it in half a month. The Monkey King laughed. On my way here, I've seen a few places with fertile soil and abundant water sources. The people of Yichu would rather grow grass than farm. I'm sure there's a reason for that. The youth surnamed Zhu proudly said, "That's natural. When they plow the land, won't they provoke us old Qin people to come and rob them?" In the past, when Bailey Shi conquered the 12 cities of the Righteous Canal, they were supported by farming. That Righteous Canal's warhounds people. After that, they also understood the logic of a man's wealth becoming a crime. So what if the Hu gave up farming and went to pasture? This good land will belong to us Qin people sooner or later. The youth was very proud of this. He was very respectful to old man Chenong and often asked him for advice. He was also very polite to Ishi, but in front of the Monkey King he did not show any respect. He was not very respectful, but because of this he was able to talk to the Monkey King more easily. The reason for this, the Monkey King had already seen through it. It was most likely that this person had a very strong view of the barbarians in his heart. Towards people like Chenong, Old Man Ishi, and people like him, he was naturally very respectful. As for people like the Monkey King who were from the hairy people country, he could not help but look down on them, so he was much more casual. Moreover, Old Man Chenong was a person who had a very deep understanding of all things. Whenever he spoke, his words would be filled with true truths. As for Yin Shi, he learned the true words of the Daoda and was an important minister of the Zhou dynasty. He came from a scholarly background, so his words were very refined. It was completely different from the wild and unbridled temperament of the Monkey King. In the eyes of the youth surnamed Zhu, the Monkey King was someone who studied the structure of space every day, as well as the transformation of energy into matter. This kind of craftsman was probably just an errand boy of Old Man Chenong, a servant that he had raised, but he did not receive the true teachings. This youth did not know what he had missed. After walking like this for 10 days, half of the cows and horses froze to death, and the corpses were scattered all over the road before they could see signs of people. When the caravan set up camp, they found people spying on them several times. The youth picked up his bow and rode his horse, leading his retainers to chase them away. Not long later, he came back with a cold face. The youth held his bow and proudly said, "It was those warhounds tribe barbarians spying on us. I killed a few of them, and they ran away in all directions. Those barbarians, if it wasn't for father not wanting to cause trouble, I would have sent my retainers that are good at tracking to their tribe and then lead my troops to kill them all. We can also find a camp to rest in, and perhaps we can even steal some cows and sheep to make up for our losses on the road." The Monkey King secretly said, "This brat is quite interesting, but he doesn't think highly of me. Is it because I call myself a hairy person? If he knew that I'm not even a hairy person and am just a monkey, I wonder what kind of face he would have." The youth saw that the Monkey King was writing those symbols that he could not understand and said with a smile, "Are you learning those mathematics and physics again?" What kind of geniuses are the two teachers? Every word they say is inherited from the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. They are the laws of every country. You are lucky enough to be a disciple of your teacher, but you don't want to learn the proper ways of governing a country. Instead, you bury your head in these strange symbols every day. Are you really neglecting your roots and pursuing trifles? It's because you know that you have a lowly status that you don't dare to ask your teacher. Mr. Winsure is of the same generation as you, and he was taught the sacred text of Tao by Father's teacher. I've heard a bit of it from him, and it's extremely profound, but you don't ask him about it. You're really wasting a great opportunity. Ishi didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard the youth's words. He had no choice but to explain. Senior Monkey King seeks the laws of heaven and earth and understands all living things. He is well versed in the grand Tao passed down by the 2 teachers. His knowledge is only higher than mine, and he can be called a celestial being. You've already fallen into the lower class by looking down on him like this. You can't say such things again. The youth thought that she was only saying these words to save face for the sake of Monkey King. So he merely chuckled and didn't take it to heart. He thought to himself, "This Monkey King is only a hairy person after all. Look at how he's so obsessed with mathematics and math. How much of their knowledge could he possibly have learned? I'm afraid he's not even as good as me. I've been coming here every day to listen to the 2 teachers discuss the Tao, but aside from those cryptic mantras, I really don't understand anything else. Things like how to use joint probability density to represent 2-dimensional random variables, and how to calculate the distribution of discrete probability clouds in space. How to use Chibushev's inequality to calculate the convergence of the probability clouds in the distribution of vital energy is really beyond my comprehension. As for Tao, politics, economics, and so on, they've all enlightened me, and I feel like I'm making great progress." Chapter 887. That youth surnamed Zhu did not know that the movement of the several thousand people of the caravan not only alerted the righteous Canal Country's warhounds, it also alerted some things that were not human. Several dozen miles away, a black man wrapped in black wind suddenly twitched his nose and said in a doubtful voice, "Why is there the smell of so many people? Did that old thing lie to me? He secretly called the righteous Canal Country's troops to ambush me?" As the black wind rolled over, there were several dozen ghost-like figures twisting in the wind, whistling as they flew up and down. There were also several demons. Some of them had the faces of beasts, looking very fierce, and some even had the appearance of wild beasts. They were all jackals, tigers, leopards, vicious monsters. With the black man as the leader, they surrounded a warhound's tribe. The warhound's tribe had several hundred people, but there were only 100 strong men in the tribe. The rest were all old and weak women in ragged clothes. There were women and children, but there were very few old people. This was because the warhound's tribe was not like the Central Plains. They did not have many filial piety rules. The old people that could not work in order to save food would starve to death. Then their relatives would gather firewood and burn it, smoking it to death. When some people saw the horde of demons and ghosts surrounding the tribe, they felt despair. They wept or clenched the crude weapons in their hands. Those so-called weapons were nothing more than stone spears and mulberry skin arrows used for hunting. It was difficult for them to pierce through the fur of the wolves on the grasslands, much less these well-armed demons who were 10 times more ferocious and elite than them. The tribe chief was a middle-aged man. He kept shouting in the Hu language. But when he saw the black wind blowing over, he heard the pitiful cries of the chief from inside. Then there was no more sound. Only the sound of bones being chewed could be heard. There were also loud shouts from inside. "Little ones, kill them for me! Don't kill them all. Leave some for later and slowly eat in the cave. Kill 2 and leave 1 alive. Eat half fresh, eat half pickled, and keep the last half for later." The Monkey King on the bronze chariot suddenly looked into the distance and said to Chinong in a low voice, "Master, there's demonic energy in front of us. Do you want them to stop for now?" The scouting team in front also sensed that something was wrong. They sent someone to report, "Master, there are traces of smoke in front." The scouts heard screams of burning and murder. "Please send someone to deal with it." Merchant Zhu Deheo's expression changed, and he exclaimed, "Not good! I'm afraid we've encountered the 3 pests." The Monkey King asked curiously, "What are these 3 pests? Why did the owner's expression change so much?" Merchant Zhu Deheo gave orders to a group of skilled retainers to bring the armored guards of the caravan. The workers lined up and mounted their horses before explaining to the Monkey King, "Guest does not know, but the people of the righteous Canal country are very hard. Those small warhounds tribes are in danger of being exterminated because of the 3 pests. The first is the kingdom's nobles, the second is the shamans, and the third is the ogres. If a normal tribe meets one of them, their entire tribe will be in danger of being exterminated. The righteous Canal country's nobles are tyrannical and cruel, taking pleasure in killing people. They are cruel to the small tribes, not treating them as their own people at all. Other than the large tribes named after the righteous Canal, the other warhounds' people are the slaves and livestock of the righteous Canal country's nobles. Every winter, the righteous Canal country's nobles will bring their troops to hunt in the country. During the winter, all beasts will disappear, so what can they hunt? Other than robbing the bear's nest, they will find those small tribes capturing their people and livestock and killing their warriors. This will weaken the resistance of those small tribes and allow them to obtain slaves. Therefore, the righteous Canal country's king has not stopped them. But if they meet the righteous Canal country's nobles, they will only lose a few able-bodied people. If they meet those shamans, it will be even more troublesome. Those shamans, in order to create magic tools, they love to kill people as blood sacrifices. They take babies and women's skin and hearts to create magic tools. Those shamans have a large influence and control many of the righteous Canal country's troops. Every time a great shaman needs a large-scale blood sacrifice or to create a powerful magic tool, it is the nightmare of those small tribes. Sorcerers love to kill and sacrifice children. If their minions find a small tribe, they will often kill all the children under the age of 14. If they see a tribe without children, they must have been harmed by sorcerers. The great merchant Zhu sighed with emotion. But although these 2 dangers are terrifying, they are far from being comparable to the 3rd danger. If they meet a noble shaman, there is still a chance for the tribe to survive. At worst, they will just die. But if they meet a demon that comes down the mountain to eat people, then they will be consigned to eternal damnation. Not even a complete corpse will be left. The righteous Canal country has a majestic mountain range to the north. Every winter, when there is a lack of food on the mountain, there will be demons coming down the mountain to eat people. That's why the righteous Canal country doesn't care much about their own corpses. The dead will be cremated because they are afraid that the corpses will attract the demons. Chin Ong drove the carriage to the great merchant Zhu and said, "I wonder if the master can bring us along. The various things in the righteous Canal country are very different from the Central Plains. I want to learn from them." The great merchant Zhu was afraid that this backer would not care, so why would he reject Chin Ang's request? The righteous Canal country would be really dangerous after winter. If Chen Ong did not care, he could only beg his family's worshipper. But he did not know if that snake demon would be willing to protect the whole caravan. If they met a powerful demon, the snake demon would usually bring him and a few of his family members and retreat. He would not risk his life for his family business. Chin-Ong did not care about his plans. He ordered the Monkey King to drive the carriage and followed the guards and guests towards the smoke and dust. The young man with the bow and arrows also rode to the side and said loudly, "Two doctors, please let me protect you from the side, in case the battlefield is silent and you get hurt by the weapons." He then saw the Monkey King scratching his ears and cheeks, thinking hard about the difficult homework that Chin-Ong had given him. The young man was a little angry. He turned his horse and ran away. He asked for a weapon from his guest and threw it on the bronze ox carriage. He said to the Monkey King, "You hairy man, you are really ignorant. The two doctors are priceless. Now that they are in danger, you're not only not protecting them, but also acting like a fool. You are really stupid." The Monkey King held the weapon in his hand and did not argue with him. He rode the ox behind Zhu Deheo's caravan. With the people on this side riding horses, they traveled several dozen miles in an instant. They could faintly see the War Hounds tribe's winter camp in front of them. Seeing this tragedy, even if the young man was a racist, his face turned pale with fright. In that small village, there were corpses piled up on the ground. Several dozen demons were busy cutting open people's stomachs and hearts, chopping up the corpses and presenting the heads to their leaders. The remaining limbs and flesh were eaten by the demons themselves. Hearing the sound of meat being eaten, it was like a tiger eating a lamb. Each demon opened their bloody mouths, and a human leg was eaten in an instant. The young man tightly held onto the bow in his hand, not knowing what to do. The horrendous sight of the demons eating humans almost scared the henchmen of the caravan to death. Even though the people of Old Chin had many brave warriors, the people of Middle-earth were protected by the immortals of the heavenly court. They had never seen such a ferocious and bloody scene. The weird-looking demons and ghosts made people's legs turn to jelly. Hence, the group of dozens of people made some noise and attracted the attention of the Demon King. The Monster King rode the black wind and charged in front of Zhu Deheo. It was lucky that he could keep a straight face and remain calm. He quickly shouted, "Great King, please wait. We are merchants from the Central Plains and have no intention of disturbing the Great King's feast. We are willing to offer over 100 oxen and horses for the Great King to enjoy. We are the immortal Great King's subordinates, collecting rare things for him. We hope the Great King will give us some face. We will be friends in the future." That black man stopped the wind and floated a foot above the black fog as he shouted, "I am the Een Mountain ruler from the nearby mountains. Who do you think you are, relying on that shameless snake behind you? You dare to discuss conditions with me. Even if it comes personally, it will depend on whether I am willing to give it face." Een Mountain ruler swept his gaze around and saw the Monkey King. His eyes lit up and he said, "I'm sick of those oxen and horses' mouths. I've never eaten a monkey raised by humans who learned to dress like humans. I wonder how it tastes compared to wild ones." Een Mountain ruler rode the violent wind and reached out to take it from the Monkey King. He said, "I'll give face to that fellow Taoist I've never seen before. I'll take 1 out of 2 of the people here and only eat half. I'll chew on a monkey first." Chapter 888. The youth only had a glimmer of hope and shouted, "He's a hairy southern man, not a monkey." He was hoping that the demon would realize that his recipe was wrong and stop to think about what special way to eat hairy men was. Een Shan Jun only chuckled. "What's the big deal if he's a hairy man or a monkey? You're young and strong, so you must be tender and chewy. I'm drooling just looking at you. I'll chew on you too." Obviously, Een Shan Jun didn't think that a monkey with no demonic chi at all would be difficult to deal with. It wouldn't take much effort, even if he took down the brat beside him. The youngster felt a gust of fishy wind blowing on his face, and his heart was filled with despair. He closed his eyes and waited for death, but he heard Chin-Ong say, "Goku, Have you finished the homework I arranged last time to use Chibu-Sheff's inequality to find the probability cloud convergence value of vitality and derive the 7 special excited states of vitality? Monkey King replied, Master, I've already done it. Look. In Shan Jun's large hand was wrapped in the black wind and was about to sweep up Monkey King when he saw that the short monkey was completely motionless in the black wind. He could even open his eyes and look at him with bright eyes. In Shan Jun was shocked and grabbed at the top of Monkey King's head with his sharp claws. He was a ferocious tiger that had turned into a spirit, so he could control the black wind. The strange, ghostly figures in the wind were the starved ghosts left behind by his cannibalism. They entangled towards Monkey King and wanted to freeze him. However, Monkey King stretched out a monkey claw and gently scooped. This move was extremely wonderful. The countless mathematical symbols in Wukong's primordial spirit operated with each other, forcefully locking onto a convergent fixed value that had a special meaning on the mathematical probability cloud when the primordial qi was circulating. In Shanjun suddenly felt his vision go black, as if he was pulled out from the entire world. His body, primordial spirit, demonic aura, all matter and spirit were crushed and turned into surging primordial qi. The purest bit of black wind fiendish energy was stimulated to a special active state. It turned all the yuan qi that Een Mountain Lord had crushed into the purest bit of black wind fiendish energy and was held in Monkey King's palm. The Monkey King blew on his palm. Countless amounts of origin qi surged over and poured into the black wind evil qi. As the wind blew, a black, dragon-like, giant wind pillar blew towards the Warhound's village. The heaven and earth turned chaotic. When the evil poltergeist ghosts were blown by the black wind, their limbs and bones were blown away by the black wind. The poltergeist ghosts were even worse off. If they were touched by the black wind, they would fuse with the black wind and turn into evil qi. When the Monkey King retracted the black wind baleful qi back into his palm, all he saw was a vast expanse of white. All the blood and filth had melted away. There were only the surviving poltergeists, the shocked Warhound's people, and the guards and workers blinking their eyes, not knowing what had happened. Master, using Chibu-Sheff's inequality to find the convergence value of the probability cloud, you can deduce the special excited state of the origin qi. It will cause the origin qi to melt, purify, corrode, and other special physical properties. The formula is as follows. I've calculated the most special characteristic of the poltergeist black wind evil qi's demonic qi. By activating its special excited state, I've melted the tiger demon into origin qi and displayed its special characteristics. What do you think of my homework? Chin Ong nodded his head in satisfaction and said, Very good, very good. Only there is a bit of regret. You should have done a Fourier transformation on the black wind evil qi, changing the function of the origin qi into a physical form. This way, you wouldn't have to restrain the evil qi. Chun Ong said this as he pointed at the black wind evil qi in the Monkey King's hand. A spiritual light turned into a seed that absorbed the evil qi, growing a gourd vine. In an instant, a gourd flower bloomed, turning into a small black gourd. When the black gourd grew, the gourd vine withered, leaving behind a small gourd the size of a palm in the Monkey King's palm. This was the collapse of the black wind evil qi's origin qi function, turning it into a physical form. At this moment, the people who were at a loss finally regained their senses. However, they still felt like they were in a dream. How did the ferocious and terrifying monster disappear in a gust of black wind? Thinking back carefully, that gust of black wind seemed to have come from the palm of a hairy man with long hair on his face and a protruding mouth. That tiger demon Yinshan was riding the black wind, shouting that he wanted to eat monkeys and humans, but in the blink of an eye he was crushed to death by the monkey and absorbed into a gust of black wind. Then, with a blow, all the monsters on the ground died, and there was no need to collect their corpses. The young man who was the closest and heard the conversation between Chinong and the Monkey King the most clearly was even more dumbfounded. He felt like he was in a dream. He still remembered the time when he heard the two doctors discussing about Tao. They mentioned how to use the joint probability density to represent the two-dimensional random variable and find the distribution of the discrete probability cloud. How to use Cheboshev's inequality to find the convergence of the probability cloud of origin chi. So it was a magical technique of the immortals, a magical technique. No wonder he couldn't make heads or tails of it. And that crazy, unbearable, hairy man actually killed the monster that he thought was ferocious in one breath. The young man with the surname Zhu was a little scared. If Immortal Mao was the least bit impatient and blew a breath at him, he was afraid that not even his bones could be found. He was shocked and scared, but also a little surprised. When he came back to his senses, he hurriedly knelt in front of Chinong and said, "Master, master! Master, please take me in. I admire the magical techniques of the immortals. Please take pity on me and take me in as your disciple." Chinong smiled and said, "Get up first. If you want to become my disciple, I still need to test you. If you really have the talent, then don't mention it." He then said to the Monkey King, "Monkey King, give him a test on trigonometry and solid geometry. If he passes, give him a book on middle school mathematics and high school mathematics. Finally, give him my set of 5 years of college entrance examination, 3 years of simulation. Within 7 days, he has to finish the whole set. If his accuracy is over 70%, you will teach him to enter Tao and learn basic magical techniques to increase his intelligence. Then, teach him to learn high-energy physics and quantum mechanics. If he can create a quantum brain, he can become my disciple in name. In the future, there will be an examination and you will be accepted as my disciple." The young man was confused by his words. He only saw that the Monkey King couldn't bear to look at him and handed him a test paper. The young man opened it and his eyes were filled with mathematical symbols. When the young man saw those symbols, his heart naturally floated up. But even if I understand the meaning of each word, I still don't know what it means when I look at it together. The young man with the surname Zhu roared in his heart. Zhu Dehaoshang ran over with his forehead covered in sweat. He saw his youngest son kneeling on the ground with a gloomy face. His face was ashen, as if he had lost his confidence in life. He didn't know what had happened and apologized uneasily. "Immortals, my son is young and ignorant. Please forgive him for offending you." Wukong giggled and said, "How could I have offended him? He just said something stupid for a moment. Why would I bicker with him? You old man, you don't have to worry. If he wants to acknowledge my master as his master, there will be a test. Now that he is like this, he just feels that he is stupid and has lost all hope." Zhu Dehaoshang was relieved. Actually, he wasn't that worried about his son. He was more afraid that his son would offend the immortals and ruin the big business that he was plotting. As he walked closer, he heard his son mumbling softly, "Why is it mathematics? Why is mathematics so difficult? Why can hairy people learn it, but I can't even understand it?" The green bull used his tongue to roll up the tender grass under the snow and chewed it. He thought to himself, "Another young man who has been driven crazy by mathematics. Why doesn't he learn from me and let go of his schemes to be at ease and learn morality from the old Lord? Let go, let go. If the schemes are in the heart, then the pure white will be unprepared. If the pure white is unprepared, then the life of the gods will be uncertain. The life of the gods is uncertain, and the Tao will not contain it. Let go of the schemes, and the pure white will carry the Tao." The bull's tail gently swung and hit the pile of snow, causing snow to splatter everywhere. The guards of the caravan calmed down slightly and prepared to set off again. However, this time they were very respectful to Chinong and his group. Their words were filled with awe. 3 days after the caravan left, a shaman with a face covered in paint, tattoos, and bone ornaments suddenly appeared in this abandoned camp. He squatted down and rubbed the dried blood under his feet. He asked curiously, "Where did that Yin Shan Jun go?" He made an agreement with me to burn down the tribes that obeyed the orders of the Ichu king. But he only destroyed this one place and disappeared without a trace. He chanted all kinds of shaman incantations and summoned a giant monster wolf from afar. He ordered, "Go catch a few people nearby. If there is anyone with the smell of this place, don't eat them and bring them to me." After a while, the shaman released the corpse of a warhound's man. He licked that person's brain and suddenly closed his eyes. His body trembled, and only after shivering did he open his eyes.